It had long been the dream of many in Kentucky to have a world-class racing facility. A track where horsepower wasn't a single-digit number, but a triple-digit figure that would shake the peaceful bluegrass countryside to life with its roar. This is Kentucky Speedway.
Give them hell, have fun.
Yes, sir.
Now you are going into the wall so hard.
Chris Buescher played him like a fiddle.
Reagan Smith will win.
Chase Elliott keeps himself in contention and wins in Richmond.
Kentucky Speedway held its first NASCAR Xfinity race in 2001. Reigning NASCAR Sprint Cup champ Kevin Harvick won that inaugural event. Who will win tonight live on NBCSN as we kick off our coverage with the NASCAR Countdown to Green show. Cloudy skies overhead here in Sparta, Kentucky. Cool temperatures, but fortunately, the only rain we're going to see was yesterday. Hi, everybody. I'm Ralph Shaheen alongside Dale Jarrett as we get set and ready to go racing here in Sparta, Kentucky. And boy, we've got an interesting battle brewing here in the championship, and they're going to do it on a 1.5 mile racetrack, and that's something you got to be good at if you want to win this title.
Yeah, you've got 5 of the last 7 that are going to be on these 1.5 mile racetrack. These drivers understand what's ahead of them. But what they have tonight is a great opportunity, Ralph. One of the few times that we have been in a race in this Xfinity series, no Sprint Cup drivers whatsoever. So who's going to take advantage of that opportunity? Is it going to be a former winner, maybe Eric Jones or Ryan Blaney, who have run very well at this racetrack? Or are we going to see a first-time winner? Our front row is made up of that tonight. 2 drivers that want to get that first Xfinity win. Should be great action all night.
Let's take a look at the points and show you how the championship is setting up. Really, 3 drivers seriously with a shot. Regan Smith, another one. But Ty Dillon just 25 points back. Chase Elliott just another 3 markers behind.
Yeah, they've had a great battle all year long, just kind of back and forth. Every time that we think that Chris Buescher is going to make a mistake or has made a mistake, to let him back in it, or you have a situation like Chase Elliott winning at Richmond the other week, Chris Buescher bounces right back the next week and extends that lead back. But I look for these drivers to be close. If Ty Dillon and Chase Elliott really want to make an impact and cut into that lead, they're going to have to find a way to go to victory lane.
Chris Buescher is a great driver who has a real shot at winning this. The 2012 ARCA titleist, Buescher is hoping to add NASCAR champion to his resume. With a 25-point lead and 2 wins, he is on his way to the crown.
The race ultimately came down to a restart. Did it play out the way you anticipated? It went better.
Chris Buescher does get the best start. Off the corner he comes. He's cleared the field.
That was nerve-wracking at the end. We knew we were really good, and we just had to have something fall our way.
Checkered flag, his first win of the year.
Oh, yeah!
Battle for the lead, teammates. Here comes Chris Buescher to the inside.
It's my teammate, so I can't really say much. Just run over me, and he happens to end up winning, so it should be interesting Monday morning.
That's real nice trying to save fuel, so appreciate that, 60 team.
These things are too hard to come by. You can't be too nice because they'll pass you by, and then you'll be sitting there thinking, what ifs?
Teammates getting together. Chris Buescher passing Bubba Wallace.
Oh, that was nerve-wracking.
Here's a look at the stats on Buescher. Yes, he has 2 wins, but the ones you really want to take note of, all those top 5s and top 10s. That's how you go about winning a championship, right, Mike Massaro?
Absolutely, Ralph, and because of that, he's got a 25-point advantage in the championship standings right now. But with 7 races to go, how comfortable is that?
It's not comfortable by any means. We've had a really good year, and I feel like we have worked really hard to get to this point. I know we have, and we just need to keep doing what we know is working, what we know we can do to make sure we extend it a little bit more by the time we get to the end. So our Evacare Mustang has some pretty good speed here. Second practice went really well for us, a lot better than the first one. So we made gains on it all weekend. You know, we're just going to wait and see what this night race holds for us. Typically, night races have been pretty good for us, so looking forward to it.
every race, as you know, is incredibly important as we get closer to the end of the season. This track has some characteristics that drivers need to overcome in order to be successful. The bumps are what I'm talking about. How good has your car been through the bumps here this weekend?
We all knew what you were talking about. It's pretty obvious when we come to Kentucky. You know, the bumps are never getting any smoother. They're always going to be there until anything is done, or if it's done, and we're all in the same boat. We all have to deal with it, every single one of us out there. So our car is okay through the bumps. I mean, it's not upsetting it. It bounces. It bounces a lot, and once it settles back down, we're able to get the throttle and drive up off the corner. So not too concerned about it.
Chris Buescher finished 11th here back in July, Ralph, looking to improve upon that this time around.
You know, this is a racetrack that has seen a lot of first-time winners go on to great things in NASCAR's Premier Division, Sprint Cup Series. Could we see maybe one of those drivers here tonight, like maybe Brian Scott, Alex Hayden?
Well, a lot of people think he could very well be that next first-time winner, Ralph. And Brian, we've all been waiting for this night to get here because this is a track that really agrees with your driving style, and you've got an awfully fast race car. Could this be the night for you to finally get that first win?
Absolutely. Without a doubt, I feel like our number 2 Charlotte Chevrolet is really fast. You know, thanks to Xfinity, I love these standalone events and the ability to race here. As kind of the headlining show in Kentucky under the lights, this is a great race. Obviously, it's produced a lot of first-time winners. We finished second here in this race last year, and I feel like our car is even better now than it was then. So hopefully we'll just have a clean race, no mistakes. We've had fast cars before and had things happen. So just try to minimize things on our end, and I feel like the only person that can really beat us tonight is us.
You guys start in the second position tonight. Outside row going to turn 1. Is the outside lane ready for 2 wide racing?
Well, we don't know if we'll start in the outside. The leader has the choice on inside or outside. But I feel good. You know, I moved my car around a lot in practice, and I worked the higher line and the lower line. So I feel comfortable at whatever line I'm in going into that first corner. It's going to stick, and hopefully we can get the lead the first lap. Clean air is important, and I feel like getting out front, you obviously have the best odds of not getting tangled up in something there.
Brian Scott starts second tonight.
There's Darrell Wallace, Bubba Wallace getting ready to go. Eric Jones has made it from New Hampshire, where he ran the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series event earlier today. Finished 7th there. His car already in the show, qualified, ready to go, and now he will crawl in and start from the tail end of the field.
Yeah, it makes it kind of difficult as a driver just to come jump in. Somebody else has been practicing your car, but they have this kind of down to a science.
Well, how about Bubba Wallace? What are his shots like here tonight? Jim Noble is standing by to talk to him.
Well, first thing I'm going to ask Bubba Wallace is, what's your time in the 40? That was a pretty good sprint out here.
That was pretty good. I got a little sidetracked watching the Tennessee-Florida game, and that was a bummer right there. We should have won that one for sure, but it's a little added motivation for tonight's race. Looking to have some fun here in Kentucky with our Bleacher Report Ford Mustang.
Hey, nobody has scored more points at mile-and-a-half tracks this year than you. Why are you so good at these?
I didn't even know that.
There you go. That's what I'm here for.
That's uplifting right there. I really think we have a really strong car for tonight. We practiced really well. And qualifying didn't go our way, but it was still a good effort by my team for sure. Looking to really move our position up. He was in the hauler watching with me, but looking to have some fun tonight for sure.
Darrell Wallace Jr. starting 14th tonight, guys.
And if you missed it, Florida won.
Yeah, I think Tennessee missed a field goal right at the end.
There's our countdown to green clock. About 35 minutes to go before we're racing here in Kentucky. We're going to dissect the championship battle. Who's going to be the guy standing at the head of the floor when we get to Miami? Get news, results, and highlights delivered to your inbox. Subscribe to the free official newsletter, the NASCAR newsletter, at NASCAR.com/newsletter. Here's a couple of the drivers in the battle for the championship. Ty Dillon, one of them. Chase Elliott hopes to be a 2-time champ when the season is over. 2 of the 3 drivers fighting for this year's NASCAR Xfinity Series crown.
Points leader.
Chris Buescher.
The battle we have is turning out to be quite a good one.
He could be back-to-back champion.
The Xfinity Series doesn't have a playoff, so every race counts the same throughout the entire year.
Best bet might be Ty Dillon.
I think that the cream has definitely risen to the top by the end of this year.
Pressure's definitely up.
Oh, it is almost like our own little chase.
To me, this is our chase starting here.
There's not a whole lot of weekends left, but there's still a lot of racing to go.
Here comes Chase Elliott trying to close the gap, not having much luck. Off the corner, career win number 2 for Chris Buescher. He wins the Iowa Speedway.
We've been able to hold the lead for a good amount of the season.
Checkered flag in the air. Chris Buescher, second win of the year, comes to the Monster Mile.
And we got into our summer stretch, 3 to 4 racetracks that we knew would be really tough for us. Bristol is going to really hurt me until we get there next year.
The 60 bobbled on the backstretch.
60's out of fuel. 60's out of fuel.
We knew that we had a good shot at winning that race. It just didn't work out in the end the way we needed it to.
Good effort, buddy. Sorry about that.
We all talked about it. It was the right thing to do for us. I mean, to go out and lead 100-plus laps, you know, if we had played it safe and just stayed in the field, no one would have even known we were there that night.
I'm not here to just lay over and just finish 8th every week. I mean, we're here to try and win races.
Fantastic performance, didn't have it all his own way, but the reigning series champion keeps himself in contention. Chase Elliott wins in Richmond.
Just a really, really solid team effort. I thought everything was just very, very smooth, and that's the kind of weekend you have to give yourself a chance.
Awesome job, guys. Never give up, boys.
Didn't expect to go 25 races in before we'd win, but couldn't come any later.
This is massive for the 9.
Ty Dillon has done a really good job all year long. I feel like I look up and he's struggling, and then you look up right at the end, and all of a sudden they put themselves in a good position at the end, and that's really what's kept him in this championship.
I don't know if we need to win this championship, but I think for our personal goals, we want to win. I think that's our first goal, is to win a race by the end of this year.
Both of those guys have, and I'm pushing 130% to be able to accomplish that before the year's up.
Your drive off looks really good, Darius. Keep working with it.
Ty and I have actually raced a lot growing up, going all the way back to Legends cars. We raced against each other in ARCA for a championship at the same time. Funny that we find ourselves in that same championship battle just a couple years down the road. He got the championship on me back then, so I'm hoping we can get him this time around.
Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, your 2014 champion, Chase Elliott.
Chase is a guy that I haven't raced with near as much.
We looked at what he did last year to start off our season, you know, just looking at the top 5s, the wins, the top 10s, the consistency of the whole thing, and really use that as our benchmark, as what we got to do this year. And so far we've done a really good job with that.
The way I see it is, I was never very good at math. I'm still not very good at math, but I do know if you finish in front of the other guy, you're going to gain more points than him. We're an aggressive, strong team, and when we get hot, we can take off and really run with this point series.
I really like where we're at. I would much rather be up front and make them come get us than have to chase them down.
Of course, the defending series champion, Chase Elliott, isn't just going to roll over and let Ty Dillon and Chris Buescher run away with this thing. What do you need to do here in these next 7 races to really turn up the heat?
I just go out, run them, and win. Pretty simple. Like I've always said, I've never been very good at math, so I do know if you outrun them, you get more points than those guys. So that's our main goal. Really proud of our Napa group and everything they've done. We've been fighting hard and just want to try to make the most of every race and just keep it simple and take it a week at a time. A lot of racing left, so we're going to try to make the most of it, and excited to be here with the Xfinity bunch this weekend and looking forward to hopefully a fun night.
And mile and a halves have been a strength for Chase Elliott. 2 of his 4 career victories have come on this configuration. Certainly looking to add to that tonight. Jim?
Well, Mike, Kentucky has been a strength for Ty Dillon. You were asked the question today, the win, bigger for you and your team, or bigger because it would put a lot of pressure on Chris Buescher and Chase Elliott?
I think both. We're as a team, we want to get in victory lane every weekend, and there's no better place to do it than this weekend in Kentucky with our West Coast Chevy, and it'll definitely put the pressure on these guys. We've been running really good. I think they're starting to feel it a little bit, so there's no better way to really put it on them than get in victory lane this weekend. And we got a good starting spot. We're going to work hard and hopefully accomplish that.
That's right. 4th starting spot, to be specific, Ralph.
Daniel Suarez will be the driver leading them all to the green flag tonight. The driver, the number 18, will be on the pole. The countdown to green continues, and Eric Jones has already had a full afternoon of racing. He'll go green again in just under 28 minutes here on NBCSN. Can see it's busy down on pit lane right now as our countdown to green continues live from here in Sparta, Kentucky, Kentucky Speedway. This is the site of the 6th and final standalone race for the Xfinity Series this year, and it's been interesting.
Did it play out the way you anticipated? It went better.
Checkered flag, his first win of the year.
Oh, yeah!
We're back at it now, and just cool to be back here at Victory Lane today.
It's pretty cool how you can hop in and out of these cars and just be fast and everything he's in.
There's contact!
We got into each other, and I didn't want to wreck him. Never want to wreck him for that crap.
Can he get to the checkers in Iowa?
Yeah, baby. He sent Alex Tagliani wide. Regan Smith ends a 52-race winless streak.
I hate doing that last corner, but didn't spin him. Just got the spot, and we're going to celebrate hard tonight.
The one you didn't see there was Paul Menard, who won the standalone race at Road America. Here are the top performers, the 5 standalone races so far. Ryan Blaney, 4 top 10s. Pretty strong. Let's hear from our pole center. That's Daniel Suarez, who's standing by with Alex Hayden.
Ralph, his 3rd pole of the 2015 NASCAR Xfinity Series season. Daniel, fast race car, no question about it, but that was in qualifying. Question is, did you guys get the setup where it needs to be for the longer runs?
We see. I guess we're going to figure it out. But yesterday during the practice, Harari's Toyota Camry was strong in the short runs and was pretty good in the long runs as well. Obviously, the track is changing a lot. Right now, you can feel it. You know, it's way more cold, and that means more grip. But not just more grip in general. It's more grip sometimes in the rear, sometimes in the front. So it's going to change a lot. It's going to change a lot. But honestly, I can't thank enough everyone in Jockey Racing for the amazing job that they are doing. Bob, Ron, Sandy from Maris, that they put this program together. We have been with a lot of support from them. My friends in Mexico, that without their support, I wouldn't be here right now. Carlos Slim, Jim Morales, Jose Sabates, Gustavo Arenas, all these people who have been supporting me a lot since I was 17 years old, and right now, slowly, we are getting those results.
So you've had a lot of track time today. You ran the ARCA Series race, led a lot of that, finished in the 6th position. How important is that for a driver's confidence to know that you have track experience already?
At least you can feel how much is going to fall off in the tires. Honestly, the ARCA car is way, way different than the Xfinity car. Bodies, tires, engines. Some of the rules of the suspensions are different as well. So it's good. I always say that it's always good to be behind the wheel instead to be sitting there watching TV. But honestly, I think that it's very different. It's very different. But like I said, I mean, we warm up already. We're ready to roll.
Daniel Suarez on the pole for the 3rd time this season. Mike?
And Eric Jones is another driver doing double duty, but he didn't run the ARCA race today. No, he ran the truck race in New Hampshire. Yet he just got here, just got his seat fitted, the steering wheel adjusted. What are you anticipating after this whirlwind tour today?
Well, hopefully a good run and hopefully a shot at a win. You know, that's all we want to do today. So we got a good car. Or it seems like, I guess I wasn't here, but Drew did a nice job shaking it down. And unfortunately, we don't get to start up here. We'll start at the back. But I think our Monster Energy Camry is good enough to make its way to the front and hopefully have a shot at this thing at the end.
And as Eric said, he will have to drop to the back of the field. He's going to be fun to watch, making his way to the front. Ralph?
Yeah, we expect him to have a very fast race car once the green flag waves, which is coming very soon. In fact, we'll wrap up our countdown to green coverage from here in Sparta, Kentucky when we come back after this short break. Stay with us live on NBCSN. Tonight at 12:30 a.m. Eastern, the Samurai of Speed head to the land of the rising sun. Can Lewis Hamilton keep his bid for back-to-back championships on track? The F1 Japanese Grand Prix live tonight at 12:30 a.m. Eastern on NBCSN. Coverage presented by Power Shares. As we wrap up our countdown to green coverage, let's hear from one more driver who could be a favorite here tonight, Alex.
No question. Ryan Blaney's got success at this track. He started in the 5th spot, Ryan. So how much confidence do you have coming back to a track that has character and, by the way, you have success at?
Yeah, well, it always gives you confidence, right? We're at a place you've won at before, and this
Discount Tire Team has done so well at, and it gives me a lot of confidence. It's one of my favorite racetracks. Kentucky, like you said, has so much character that drivers love it. It's really rough, and that really challenges teams to kind of get their cars better over bumps, staying on long runs. So I'm really excited for tonight. I think we have a great Discount Tire Ford Mustang, and hopefully we can bring it home for him.
Ryan Blaney starts 5th, got his first career NASCAR Xfinity Series win right here at Kentucky Speedway. Ralph?
Dale, you like Ryan as a shot for the win tonight?
Yeah, he wouldn't really make himself the favorite here tonight, but I will. I really think he's been here all weekend practicing the car. He's had success. He's run 10 races this year. He has 1 win, 4 runner-up finishes. He's outstanding in these races. I think he's the man to beat, but we could also see a first-time winner. This is really going to be exciting for these drivers trying to get that first victory and see if they can outrun this 22 and 54.
Well, the next step for the drivers to head into the cars, strap in, get the helmet on, hold the belts tight, and get ready to go racing. We'll be back and ready to throw the green as our countdown to green wraps up live here on NBCSN. Welcome to NASCAR Xfinity Series Racing from Kentucky, presented by Nexium. Drivers are making their way into the cars, getting ready to go racing here. Brendan gone and set to go, but before we can strap the drivers in, we need to work our way through opening ceremonies. Let's head down trackside.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Kentucky State Police Honor Guard present our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Pastor Larry Campbell from Kentucky Raceway Ministries offers tonight's invocation.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this great evening. And Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to be here at this race. Lord, give us a safe race. Father, watch over all that who are involved. We just pray for safety upon them. Lord, we just pray now for our country. Lord, bless our country and bless all those that are throughout the world fighting for our freedom. Father, we just pray your blessings upon them. Father, we thank you for all you've done for us. We thank you for giving us Jesus, your son. And Father, it's in his name that we pray. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome from Louisville, Kentucky, 64 West.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Kentucky Speedway's a mile and a half with a lot of character. Character known as bumps. I want to rip a steering wheel out of a driver's hands. Who will be tough enough to win at Kentucky? Stay with us to find out.
Give them hell, have fun. Yes, sir.
monster. You are going into the wall so hard.
Chris Buescher played him like a fiddle. Reagan Smith will win. Chase Elliott keeps himself in contention and wins in Richmond.
Well, the engines haven't roared to life just yet, but the nerves sure have as we get closer to the start here for the drivers. NASCAR's Xfinity Series. The final standalone event of the season. That's important for some of these drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. Opportunities to showcase what they do. You've got a lot of drivers here trying to get that first win of the season, and there's no better place to do it. You don't have any Cup drivers to deal with, so you're just racing against people that you race with every single week in this series, and to go out and outperform them here on the big stage. You know, you got all those car owners of the Sprint Cup Series drivers and the drivers sitting back there watching. It might take something tonight, and you might do something special that they see that could get you to that next level just because of something that happened here tonight.
Up go the window nets. It's a comfortable feeling for the driver, isn't it, when that window net goes up? Now you are in your own world.
Yeah, you put everything else that's going on in the world, in your world, aside. You know, this is your time now. This is where you wanted to be. This is what you worked for, is get this opportunity right now. Get yourself in the car thinking about everything that has to happen tonight, what you want to do, how you want to approach this race at the beginning. Is it something for some of these drivers that really want to attack, or are you just going to kind of let the track come to you? These conditions have changed. They're going to find their race cars different than what they had in practice.
It is definitely cooled down. Everything is set. Time now to start those engines. Let's head back trackside for the command to fire them up.
Here to give the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome Executive Vice President of Marketing for Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce, Scott Schultz.
Drivers, start your engines!
Well, welcome inside our booth as the roar of those big V8s come to life. Hi, everybody. Ralph Shaheen alongside Dale Jarrett. We are ready to go racing. We sure hope you are. This is a racetrack, as we said, that has a tremendous amount of character known as bumps. But boy, Dale, the drivers just love this place.
Yeah, they really do. They don't want new asphalt put down here. It's a challenge for them, but they like that challenge that it presents. Yesterday, we were able to get some shots of Ty Dillon inside of his car, really working hard with the steering wheel. And now that you're going to go out in a race with 39 other cars tonight, you're going to have to, at times, go across bumps and parts of this racetrack you don't really want to be in, but that's what these drivers do. They understand everybody has to go through the same thing, so they're excited about the opportunity. Who can make and maneuver through these bumps the best is going to be in a good position to win later.
It's incredible to see that video, just how much the drivers are working here. And we have three drivers who really have a shot at this championship as we head towards Homestead, Miami. Buescher leads it by 25 over Dillon, and Chase Elliott right in the thick of it, just a couple of markers back. So how do you size up this championship?
Well, if you look at this graphic, you see not much has happened points-wise between these three. So if you're going to make yourself visible and going to try to catch Chris Buescher, you're going to have to go to victory lane pretty much. You need to try to lead as many laps as you can, get yourself in a position to gain the maximum points. You know, as Chase Elliott said earlier, if you finish ahead of them, you know you're going to gain some points. The way to gain the most points is to go out and win the race, lead laps, and get yourself in a good position there. But they're dealing with a tough customer in Chris Buescher. He hasn't cracked to this point, and I'm not sure that he's going to.
And maybe the toughest challenge, this bumpy racetrack behind us here. It's going to be fun to see which driver, which car can survive the race here at Kentucky. We'll be headed to the green flag when we come back. Stay with us live at NBCSN. Welcome back to Kentucky Speedway. The cars rolling up the grid, getting ready to throw the green for the VisitMyrtleBeach.com 300 live here on NBCSN. Let's show you our Nexium starting grid. Daniel Suarez puts the number 18 on the pole. Brian Scott right alongside both of those drivers looking for a win.
And in qualifying run here, Ty Dillon looking for that first victory of the season also.
Working our way back through row number 3. Here's Ryan Blaney, your pick possibly as the winner here tonight. And Brendan Gaughan just attacked this racetrack in qualifying. That's what you're going to have to do in the race.
Yeah, great qualifying effort. Jeremy Clements there in the 51 car. Chase Elliott's much better than he was in practice. Is that going to be good enough to challenge for a victory?
Here's the points leader, Chris Buescher, alongside. The car will be positioned here in row 5, but Jones is going to drop back.
Yeah, got to go to the rear. See, it's going to be interesting to watch him work his way. Ross Chastain, another with a good qualifying effort. Elliott Sadler felt like his car was really good and raced that up.
Back now to row number 7. There's J.J. Yaley. He showed to have a very fast race car in practice all weekend long.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace there has scored more points than anyone else in this Xfinity Series on the mile-and-a-half tracks, looking for a win, though.
Matt Tiff shows up in the 20 car, making his debut in that machine.
Yeah, a young man that showed a lot of promise here. Let's see what he can do in this Joe Gibbs racing car tonight against these guys.
Brendan Poole's got the 42 along the side of the 43 of Dakota Armstrong right next door.
Next we have Ryan Reed, who won the ARCA race here earlier today. Dylan Lupton in the 25 car here tonight for Mike Ford.
Brandon Jones back here in row number 11. Just found out he's going to be driving full-time for Richard Childress Racing next year as we work our way back through the rest of the field. A great announcement for him in between practice sessions yesterday. No word to exactly which car or which crew chief we'll see Jones in next year. All right, a little cooler temperatures out here tonight than we've seen all weekend. These drivers are going to have to build up some extra heat in these tires.
Yeah, they want to get the heat in the tires. You know, they've been sitting around for a while, and they're also getting ready to see, generally this racetrack, and talking to these drivers, it gets quite a bit looser than what they face in the afternoon during practice sessions. So see if they've adjusted properly for the start of this race.
And we have some onboard cameras for you tonight, including the DC Solar. Brendan Poole carrying that camera. He's starting 17th. Here's our Toyota on board. Eric Jones has that camera with him. The Xfinity on board goes along with Ty Dillon. And the Sunoco on board will be with man starting from the pole, Daniel Suarez. One lap to go before we go green. Let's hear from our pit reporters one more time. We begin with Mike Massaro.
Ralph, if you're looking for a potential new face in victory lane tonight, look no further than Daniel Suarez. His crew chief Eric Phillips told me earlier this week they circled this date on the calendar months ago. He looks at it as an opportunity. Consequently, he says they've loaded their guns and brought their best piece here tonight. So far, their first bullet has hit its mark. Suarez rolls off from the pole here this evening. Jim Noble.
Mike, we've heard the name Eric Jones an awful lot. Why? This kid's like Elvis, folks. He jets in from afar, he knocks him dead, and then he leaves the building. It's a little more complicated than that, actually. Jones will start from the rear, as you've heard, after missing qualifying to race and finish 6th in the truck race at New Hampshire. But that might not be much of a deficit. Eric Jones was very good here back in July, finishing 2nd. Alex Hayden?
Jim, Matt Tift is making his first career NASCAR Xfinity Series start, and he's doing it arguably with the best team in the business in Joe Gibbs Racing. He's been relatively calm all weekend long. However, this UNC Charlotte business major was very nervous last week, as he said on the pit box, because Sprint Cup Series driver Matt Kenseth drove this machine. He wanted to introduce himself to Kenseth to let him know he was going to pilot it this week, but he was too nervous to introduce himself. Matt Tift making his first career start. He's ready to go.
I can understand. Matt's a pretty intimidating guy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
It's scary. I think he's laughing right now.
I'm sure he probably is.
Here we go. Pace car is off. We're ready to go green in Kentucky. The final standalone event of the year for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We're racing live on NBCSN.
So Daniel Suarez chose that outside line. It was his choice. Brian Scott looked like Suarez, but got a big run off of turn 2 and was going to take the lead, but Brian Scott fell back down in 3 and 4 and will lead the first lap.
Working back down into turn number 1. Hoping, whoa, a couple of cars go way wide up along the wall down in 1 and 2. And we've got cars crashing. And it looks like the 16 is involved in this as well. That, of course, is Ryan Reed, who won that ARCA race earlier here today.
Yeah, I'm not sure he started that, but he was a part of it. And I believe that's Blake Cook that got a big portion of him as he came back down across the track.
There's a look at Cook's wounded racer heading back to the pit lane. Maybe some cold tires getting the best of somebody?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's see exactly where this started.
Is that Chastain?
Looks like Chastain got high, and then things started happening from there as others started to check up a little bit.
Looks like the 88 was involved, Ben Rhodes, and I also looked like it might have been the 42 Poole.
Yeah, I believe Brennan Poole was a part of that. Let's see if they have some contact here, too. Yeah, that's definitely Brennan Poole getting a little bit loose on the inside, and that's something they will fight all night long, drivers, on the inside. The air gets off of your spoiler there. It's a fast part of the racetrack. Really, Ryan Reed had nothing to do with everything that was going on there, just a victim, but certainly a lot of damage to his car.
Well, he took a shot in the door, too, didn't he? Right here. Bang. Watching Eric Jones.
Stay low, stay low. They're coming down. Easy here. Stop, 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 stop. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Reed is on pit road. Crew takes a quick look and sends him back out. A little bit of cleanup to do here in Kentucky. We'll step away just for a quick bit. We'll be right back for more. Stay with us. Jim Noble, what can you tell us about Ryan Reed's wounded 16?
Well, this is the third visit to pit road. You see the splitter. They've actually had to tape the splitter to the nose because all the bracing was going on that. Also, they asked Ryan Reed if he flat spotted his tires. He said, I may have. They haven't changed tires yet, but of course, as you guys know, they get limited tires, so losing one this early would be a big deal, Alex.
Ben Rhodes, Jim, has been on the pit lane 3 times. We expect him perhaps back a 4th time. They've knocked the toe out on the race car. What that is where the front tires, the direction that they point while the steering wheel's at the 12 o'clock position. But DJ, Ben Rhodes is reporting right now after only 1 lap that the steering wheel is pointing in the 9 o'clock position.
Yeah, that's not going to be good. And what they'll probably at some point in time try to make some adjustments on that toe. It takes a little bit of time. You have time here, but when you're at the back of the pack, it makes it difficult to do. What it'll do is wear the tire probably on the inside of that left or right front and could create a real issue for him later on.
Ryan Reed making pit stop number 4 as they continue to work on the 16. As we said earlier, he won the ARCA race here and had a great afternoon. This was a race that was supposed to run yesterday but got rained out, just like the final hour of Xfinity practice. They had to wait till today. First thing on the racetrack today, and Ryan Reed first to visit victory lane.
You were kind of hoping that might set him kind of in motion since winning at Daytona back in February. Things haven't gone exactly the way he would have planned, but a rough start to tonight. See, they are changing those tires now, and you know, they'll look at those others. They can put those back on. They don't have much time on. I didn't really see him lock it up. I just saw him turn sideways and down across the track, but they'll take a look at that. They've got a lot of issues besides just having enough tires to finish the night.
Yeah, like where they're going to get more racer tape, because they sure used a lot of it.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of that down there, but unfortunately having to make those repairs here so early.
Now remember, Eric Jones had to start from the back of the pack since he got here late. Let's see how he did working his way up through as this one went green.
Before he got off turn 2, so let's see what happens in 3 and 4.
Boy, he hustled it around the outside, didn't he?
Yeah, there's number 7. Clear.
Things are about to get sketchy in front of him.
Yeah, this is whenever the spotter's going to start hollering here in just a second.
Be smart, you're wet on your tires. Watch it, stay low, stay low. They're coming down. Easy here. Stop, 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 stop. Come on, get to the bottom, get to the bottom. Come on down.
That's a pretty good opening lap, Jim.
Well, this is really messing up Eric Jones. Why? I think he had a bet with his crew chief that he could get to 15th position in the first 15 laps. They were talking about that the plan is out the window. But Eric Jones has picked up positions nicely. Very smooth, very comfortable behind the wheel.
Brian Scott goes to the outside here, Dale. You surprised as we go back to green?
Yeah, not really. What we've seen the last couple of years, that is the preferred line. And I don't think that Daniel Suarez chose the wrong lane, although we got 3 wide here going down into turn 1.
How about Dillon going to the bottom and Chase Elliott trying to come around the outside in the blue and yellow number 9. Double file again. Ryan Blaney in the 22, just inside of Suarez. You ride with Daniel.
You'll be able to see Suarez really close up as those 2 cars in front of him racing side by side. That creates a great drafting opportunity as you go down into turn 1 over 180 miles an hour.
Regan Smith has worked his way up into this top group. He sits just outside the top 5, 7th in the black number 7 with the green trim on the bottom.
Yeah, that was impressive of Chase Elliott to be able to hang on to that second spot from the outside as Ty Dillon was trying to get in that second slot himself.
There's Smith to the inside of Blaney. Elliott Sadler behind him in the blue and white number 1. And Brendan Gunn looming up behind them in the black and yellow 62.
Yeah, Elliott Sadler in that 1's made some nice progress himself here in the early laps.
Watching the battle for 5th. 4 cars really fighting over that. Look at this pack back here where Eric Jones way up top in the 54 goes to the high side. Looks like he's not afraid to go to the bottom either. Here he comes.
Now, these are going to be the easiest passes that he's obviously going to have for tonight as he works his way up closer to the top 10. Then they're going to get more challenging.
Well, he's up to 19th on lap 11. You know what? He might hit that 15 cars pass mark.
Yeah, he's a young man that still probably doesn't understand. If you're going to make a bet, you need to say green flag laps.
Yeah.
I'll get that. So
yeah.
He'll figure that out from this point. May still get there and win.
Gets Dakota Armstrong. Here comes Conley on the outside. He's going to get 2 of them right here.
It's just so impressive that he comes in. We've seen him do this a number of times. Come in, has not been in the race car, has no idea exactly what it's going to feel like. He came from a 1-mile flat racetrack to this high-speed 14-degree banking track today and just sat down in the car, got the steering wheel right, got his seat right, and comes out here and starts passing cars immediately.
Credit to Herring for setting the car up for him to do it.
No doubt about that. He's got a good pilot there and good friend in Drew Herring to do that, to put that car where he can come here and be as aggressive as he is right now.
Shows the trust these 2 drivers have between them, too, that Eric believes in what Herring did for the car.
Yeah, the crew believes in that, too. They believe in Drew Herring, too. They would love to see Drew Herring be able to get more opportunities and be able to race the car some. But Drew is appreciative of the opportunity he gets to come here and make this car fast so Eric Jones can come here and try to win.
Jones now passing the 25 of Dylan Lupton. That will put him up to about 16.
I don't know if he's just where he's running or what, higher. It looks like it's from the rear. We got a little bit of qualifying. I don't think it's going to be an issue, though.
Back up to the front, and look at the gap already. Our leader, Scott, has opened up here. It's about 1.2 seconds as we go back to 10th and 11th, and that's where you find our points leader, Busher, in the 60.
Yeah, Busher struggling some as we see the other 2, Ty Dillon and Chase Elliott, working their way towards the front, running 2nd and 3rd right now. Chris Busher has fallen back some outside the top 10.
That's Clements right behind him in the black 51. Too early in the race to see your car slipping that far back.
Yeah, you really don't want to see that. But as we talked about, this racetrack has gone through a big change from when they practiced yesterday afternoon. Obviously, they're going to have to make some adjustments for Chris Busher to try to be competitive here tonight inside the top 10, not give away any more points than what they have to. Obviously, they don't want to give away any, but if their car is not going to get exactly right, they still want to be able to finish in the top 10, and that's what he's been able to do all year. Adjust on this race car and still finish very solidly and not give away many points.
Mike, what are you hearing from the crew on the 60?
Well, right now, the handling is just not what Chris Buescher wants right now, just a little bit tight. But, you know, this goes back to a conversation I had with him before the weekend's practices even began. I asked him, so what did you learn here in July? And he just kind of hesitated. And I said, well, what do you remember? And he said, I don't know. That kind of just gives you a sense. It was a forgettable race for him because they didn't finish where they wanted. They were outside the top 10, and he admitted this has not been one of his most likable nor productive racetracks on the schedule. So much, in fact, that he felt like he needed to lean on his teammates, Elliott Sadler and Bubba Wallace this week, for a little bit of insight as to how to get around this place. So it still seems like he's trying to figure it out. He was a little bit more optimistic coming into the race, but still admitted this is not his favorite racetrack.
Yeah, you can see the 60 moving around there as he comes through the corners. Brian Scott continues to lead, and as we get set to head off to break, just in case you're wondering, Dale, Eric Jones won the bet.
Well, I hope he bet a lot.
He's a winner already here tonight. Don't miss a race. Visit NASCAR.com/calendar to download the official 2015 season schedule. Get pre-race reminders and find your local airing information. Brian Scott leads here. 1.8 seconds in front of Chase Elliott. Here's Scott in this black and white number 2.
Yeah, just done an outstanding job here early on in this race, getting himself out front. He talked about how that's what he would like to do, be in the clean air, run the race the way that he wants to run it. Here's another one running the race he wants to. Passing a lot of cars. Eric Jones in this 54.
Yeah, he gets around tipped, and that'll move him up to 12th. Knocking on the door of a top 10 position here. Just 25 laps in. That's moving through the field pretty good.
Yeah, it really is. And we'll see what kind of adjustments he may want whenever it gets around the time to make a pit stop. And in talking to Chris Gale today, he said that there were adjustments that they generally had to make for Eric coming in to drive the car versus what Drew Herring does in practice. They kind of know that now. There's a little bit of a pattern as to what Eric likes versus Drew, and so they're able to do that. And then with track changing, they may have to make a little more of an adjustment, but very good start for this race team and driver so far.
When the green flag waved, he was 40th. Now he's 25th, 25 laps in. Darrell Wallace, Bubba Wallace here in his 6, racing with Jones in the 33. Those two squabbling over 9th position, Jim.
And it's been a great start for Brandon Jones. Started 22nd, raced his way into the top 10 almost immediately. This is a huge race for this young man from Georgia. This will be his last race of the year for RCR, but of course, it's already been announced he'll go full-time, and we've got a crash.
Jim, yep, the 0-1 into the wall. Michael Self brings out the second caution of the day. He was running in 20th.
But down on the inside, trying to make a pass. Happens so many times. We talk about it. It isn't just into the corner, but you get that side by side. You're losing the same air off your spoiler there. Your car's already a little bit free. Not able to get it slowed down before he hits the safer barrier on the inside.
He's moving around there. The window net is down, indicating that he's okay.
Yeah, he's okay. Disappointed. Probably disappointed in himself that he got there. He was trying to make a pass, and you get there yourself in that situation. And then, unfortunately, it steps out, and it's turned around before you know it.
Ryan Reed, who has a very torn-up race car, will get the free pass. There he is.
Well, the caution will allow them to work on that car some more, make some more adjustments, see what they can do. It's got them back on the lead lap, so that's a positive for them.
Way too early for anybody to make any pit stops here. Pit window up over 55.
Yeah, I think we'll see him on pit road.
Yeah?
Yeah, I really believe that we'll see him come, make some adjustments. Could be a situation whether it's 2 or 4 tires is going to be the call. There is an opportunity here to put 2 tires on and gain some track position.
Pit window is 57 to 60. They're going to come down now. Let's hear from Alex Hayden first.
First car that we're going to see come to pit lane is Ty Dillon. Said the car's a little bit free on entry to turn number 1 as well as turn number 3. They're going to change all 4 Goodyear tires. Slight air pressure adjustment topped off with Sunoco fuel. Jim?
Middle of your screen, Brandon Jones. We told you how he raced his way into the top 10. Just needs to be more secure on entry. 4 tires for Jones.
Brian Scott's balance has been a little bit off. They're going to make a chassis adjustment, a wedge adjustment on the left side. 4 tire change for the 2 car.
Take a look at our Geico race off of pit road, and Ty Dillon moves up 2 slots. Bubba Wallace gains to Scott. Wrong way.
Yeah, but he's taking 4 tires. You see those first 2 got 2 tires there. Playing a little strategy, but to get that clean air that they're looking for.
We'll see how it plays out when we come back to Kentucky Speedway. Stay with us for more NASCAR Xfinity presented by Nexia. Back here at Kentucky Speedway on a cool evening. Lots of rain here last night. Not today, but gray clouds all afternoon long. It's definitely cooled this racetrack down. Second caution of the night comes out, and a lot of teams have visited pit road. Ty Dillon finds himself now up at the front.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these 2 tires work out. And the teams and crew chiefs that I talked with said that the left side tires don't wear that much, so they're not really that concerned with that. Good opportunity to get some track position, see what your car will do. This might be something that will set you up later to where, yeah, I know what my car will do now. Here's the adjustment we need to make, but 2 tires will get us a track position that we need to possibly try to win this race.
Alex Hayden.
Ty Dillon got 2 tires on that stop, Ralph, and the idea with the car being too free in the corner, his crew chief, Nick Harrison, said, don't worry about turns 1 and 2. You're going to be a little tight in turns 1 and 2, but we're going to correct the biggest problem, and that was free in turns 3 and 4. So that was the reason for the 2 tire change. Plus, these left side tires, they run an awful lot throughout the year. These crew chiefs know an awful lot about the left side tires. Jim?
Brendan Poole in that 42 car had really high hopes going into today, but the car is really inconsistent, probably because you see all that bear bond. They got caught up in that early crash. He said he just can't figure out what to tell the crew chief to do. He did take 4 Goodyear tires and follow up with Sunoco Racing Fuel on that last stop, Mike.
In the 18 camp, Jim, there was a lot of discussion between crew chief Eric Phillips and driver Daniel Suarez about taking 2 or taking 4. Phillips decided that 4 was the better way to go, not necessarily because he wanted fresh rubber all the way around, but because the car was so tight, they needed to make some adjustments, wedge, air pressure, and they needed the time to do it. So he took advantage of that by using 4 tires instead of just going with 2, knowing full well some of his competitors opted for the track position and got off pit road a little bit quicker, but they feel like drivability here is paramount.
Getting that car a little bit more like it was in qualifying where it was so fast. And how about the 54 of Eric Jones? Well, you can see how he's progressed up through the field, up to 11th.
Yeah, it's going to get a little tougher now as you get in, trying to work your way inside the top 10. I do like the idea of what the 18 did, though. They probably over-tightened because of the tendency for this track to loosen up. Let's put 4 tires on it and make our adjustment. See if we've got our car right. We can put 2 tires on later.
Looks like a couple of cars struggling in the tail end of the field.
Bubba Wallace wanted to lead this race down on the inside. Ty Dillon chose that outside, which I believe most leaders will throughout the night. He's going to get too loose.
Oh boy, it gets a little tight through there as they're way up to the high side.
Yeah, I think he actually got Ty Dillon's attention there, and maybe Ty had to get out of the gas. Here comes Brian Scott.
Scott's going to make it 3 wide as they go back down into turn number 1, and he's back to the front here in Kentucky. Blaney trying to get in the mix as well. Here comes the 22. Dillon still working that outside line in the 3. He's fast on entering into the corner, Dale.
Boy, that was impressive right there. I think he lost his time whenever he saw Bubba Wallace getting loose under him. You've got to give him some room. He wasn't sure if he was going to get hit or not. Did a nice job of rebounding from that and maintaining the lead.
Regan Smith in the 7 thought he'd have a fast car here tonight. You see him battling with Suarez as they fight over 5th.
Yeah, you see a lot of sparks from Suarez. We saw this yesterday in practice. Looked like on low air pressures, they've got their car really down, hitting some there. Doesn't take long once it starts building back up. Hopefully then it will be a benefit for him.
Jones still picking his way through the field. Behind Elliott Sadler, he holds down 8th position now. Remember, he started 40th here tonight. You see the sparks showering off the back of the orange 18 of Suarez. Not sure what exactly is rubbing under that car, but as many sparks as he's let go off the back of that car this weekend, it's got to be just about worn off.
Well, you know, they monitor that, they look at that and know exactly what it is and feel good with that as we see Eric Jones trying to take another spot away. He'll move into that 7th slot, taking that away from Elliott Sadler right there. But they understand what they're doing. They saw that. They knew it. They look at it after every practice, so they're comfortable with whatever that is, Dragon, that it's not going to be a problem tonight.
Scott now a little more than half a second behind Ty Dillon.
Really impressed with Ty Dillon and what he was able to do there. You see Ryan Blaney closing up. Got a real battle here for the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th spots.
Here's Brendan Gaughan. Chase Elliott trying to push Elliott Sadler past him, and Jones back behind Gaughan.
Yeah, Chase Elliott was a big loser there on those pit stops as they got 4 tires and things happening on the restart.
This is that crazy restart, Dale. Watch a little bit further. Right in here, you can see behind Jones, it all bunches up.
Yeah, somebody either missed a gear or anticipated and wasn't able to go. Then it's just an accordion effect back there. Lucky there wasn't more damage than what happened there.
Here's Regan Smith in tow behind Bubba Wallace. Wallace holds down 5th.
So we'll see how this experiment with 2 tires goes for Bubba Wallace. He was just inside the top 10 when he made that pit stop. Got to 2 tires. So if he's able to hold and maintain somewhere around that 5th or 6th spot until it's time to pit again, then that was good. They'll be able to get 4 tires and make adjustments to their car, see if they can make it even faster for Bubba.
Regan Smith seems to be right about his Tax Slayer Bull number 7. He thought it would be fast here tonight. It's been up around the top 5 all night long.
Yeah, and it looks like that his car's a little better on the longer runs. After they get some laps on the tires, then it seems to hold on pretty well at that point. Maybe not all the speed that he's looking for on a short run.
The other Jones in the 33, racing with Gaughan here as they battle over 10th.
2 drivers out of the Richard Childress Racing camp. Of course, Brendan Gaughan, the winner here in this race last year.
He's been pretty happy with his race car here tonight, but the only thing he wasn't really happy with is there's a giant sand sculpture at the front of the Speedway built because of the race from Myrtle Beach, and he didn't like his portrait in the sand.
You seldom see anything you like when it's picture-wise or anything like that, so only thing he was glad is it was about him because that meant he won.
Points leader Buscher back here in 13th, still racing with Clements. Those two have been pretty much tied together since this race got started, but Buscher keeps slipping back instead of moving forward.
Yeah, certainly not where he wants to be. I'm sure they made probably a pretty big swing at this 60 car for Chris Buscher on that pit stop. We'll see as this run goes on if it's something that may be beneficial to him, but right now he just doesn't have the speed, the handling in this race car that he's going to need to survive this night and not lose some points to Ty Dillon and Chase Elliott.
Well, he had 25 over Dillon when this race went green, and right now, Mike, he would, if you look at the way they're racing on the track with Dillon leading, it's cut down to 9.
Yeah, and you know that's got to be on his mind. You know, we've had conversations over the past few weeks about the championship pressure. As you may know, Ralph, he did win the 2012 ARCA championship, so I was curious. I wondered, How did that prepare Chris for what he's going through now? We talked about it this weekend, and he just kind of said it didn't compare at all. He said, you know, we did battle with Frank Kimmel that year, and that was quite the battle. However, the pressure in that series compared to the pressure he has in this series, he says it's apples and oranges right now. He's definitely feeling it, not shy to admit it, and knows he's got some work to do here in these next 7 races.
Frank Kimmel's not an easy guy to beat.
No, he's not, and this is going to be a battle to the end. He knows that, and he's not thinking about points right now. He's thinking about what can I do to make this race car better than what it is. The points will take care of themselves.
He better do it pretty quick because Ty Dillon likes the lead here. He led 155 of 200 laps in this race last year. Finished third. That was the most laps he ever led in a race. Tonight at 12:30 a.m. Eastern, the Samurai of Speed head to the land of the rising sun. Can Lewis Hamilton keep his bid for back-to-back championships on track? The F1 Japanese Grand Prix live tonight at 12:30 a.m. Eastern on NBCSN. Coverage presented by Power Shares. We've had 3 leaders, 4 lead changes, 2 caution periods for 10 laps here at Kentucky Speedway. Ty Dillon leads. 150 laps remaining. Ryan Blaney here in the 22 really closed up on Scott and has moved himself into second while we were away.
Yeah, it looked like Brian Scott got a little bit high there, and it allowed Ryan Blaney to take that second spot away. But now Ryan Blaney is running down the leader at a pretty rapid pace.
That's Dillon, and here he comes. Well, you said you thought Blaney had a great race car for tonight.
You know, he's really good at giving information back to the crew as to what his car needs. We saw him just kind of get into the top 5 and settle in there in that first run, knowing that run wasn't going to win him the race. Only thing he could do was make a mistake and lose the race there. But they made the adjustment. He's got 4 tires versus Ty Dillon's 2. I think you're seeing that have some effect here now. So just how good 2 tires are going to work for you at the end of the race depends on how good your car is and how many laps you're going to have to run with those.
A win at Iowa Speedway for Ryan Blaney. 4 runner-ups and 10 starts this season.
Yeah, that's pretty good average when you get.
Oh, yeah.
You've got first and second to half your time. He's just outstanding. He's a really good talent. He's learned well. He's got himself into a great organization, getting a lot of things happening here. He won his first Xfinity race here back in 2013, so he just understands this place. But more than anything, he is competitive everywhere that he goes, and he's going to have the lead here in just a lap or 2.
He is all over the back of the 3 of Ty Dillon now. He reeled him in no time. A little bit of an issue with the 52. Going to get in the right lane here. Dillon will slide by, and Blaney comes through there pretty quick as well.
Yeah, without traffic, Blaney in the last 6 or 7 laps has been running anywhere from a 1/10 and a half to 3/10 faster per lap than what Ty Dillon has been. This 22 car's just been outstanding here every time it comes. You think about the drivers with Keselowski winning, Logano's won here, so they have really good drivers in it, but they've got a setup that really works well as he looks to take the lead.
From the center of the corner off, he just ate him up, didn't he?
Yeah, and that's where probably a lot of tires, and Ty Dillon understands that right now. You know, it's not a fair fight and fair battle at this point in time. There's no reason in trying to do something that you and your car aren't capable of right at this point.
Later, 22.
How about some possible first-time winners here tonight, Mike?
Yeah, there's a number of drivers in that category who could potentially cash in and make their presence felt in victory lane. Certainly Brian Scott is a driver who's making a case for himself this evening. He's already led 28 laps, but right now what he's trying to do is find the right line through the bumps, and his spotter Mike Dillon has been coaching him quite a bit, telling him to straighten out his entry into the corner, but mostly be patient and not overdrive the race car, take care of the tires. There's still a long way to go, and Brian Scott certainly has a shot at getting to victory lane, Jim.
Well, Daniel Suarez this. Mike was 4th here in July. That's where he finds himself running right now. Has a lot of experience, relatively speaking, at the racetrack. Has raced here in the Truck Series as well as back here in July. Right now for that race car, he's tight. He needs more grip. They made a little bit of a wedge adjustment on the front end, trying to give him some front grip. The wedge adjustment helped it a little bit, but crew chief Eric Phillips probably needs to do more on their next pit stop, Alex.
Bubba Wallace is another one of those drivers searching for his first career NASCAR Xfinity win, and he may very well get it tonight. However, he's going to have to overcome a problem down in turns 3 and 4 with the handling of the race car. Turns 1 and 2 are pretty good. However, in 3 and 4, a completely different set of problems. He is saying that the front tires are chattering when he works his way through the 14-degree banking of turns 3 and 4. And DJ, when your tires are chattering and your car is good at the other end of the racetrack, how frustrating can that be?
Well, those drivers all with a shot here tonight as they run 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And here's Jones, who runs in 6th, continues to claw his way up through the field.
Yeah, I don't think his car's exactly the way that he wants it right now, but he's managing that and keeps inching his way forward up in the standings here.
And at the front of the pack, the leader, Blaney, in the 22. Dylan, Scott Suarez, and Bubba Wallace giving chase. Welcome back to the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Visit MyrtleBeach.com 300 live on NBCSN. We've had 5 lead changes so far tonight amongst 4 leaders. Ryan Blaney, the discount tire 22 at the front of the field.
Yeah, he's pulled out to almost a 2-second lead over Ty Dillon right now.
Happy with my front end right now. I just need the back to get locked down a little bit there. Back. Not in the racetrack.
Want to feel your age a little bit here, DJ. 4 of the top 5 are 23 or younger. Brian Scott is the old man at 27.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm here for you, pal.
There's no doubt. Yeah, a lot of young talent. You know, this series is in great shape with young drivers. The opportunities these young drivers are getting, and they're making the most of these opportunities in good race cars. Really fun to watch. You know, not only do they drive well, I'm really impressed to watch them on TV when they get in interviews and opportunities to talk. I mean, I don't know. We've seen these 18-year-olds get on today and talk. I don't know at 18 that, you know, I couldn't get up in front of my class in high school and talk. So they do an outstanding job, which all of that is going to make them more marketable as they move their careers forward.
These two drivers have been side by side for quite a few laps. Yeah, not many of these young drivers doing like your dad Ned did, going to school to learn how to be good at all that before he even got going in his career to try to improve his standing.
Yeah, we see Matt Tipp here making his way forward in his first Xfinity race here, trying to do that. Doing a good job. This is a tough spot. We've talked about this. We saw this happen on the first lap. Driving down on the inside of another car. You try to approach the corner like you normally would that car on your quarter panel. You can see there, he backed out. That's a nice job. Let's see if we can get back to the throttle soon and drive by Brendan Gaughan. Still hasn't made the pass yet, but hanging right there and doing a good job, not tearing up his race car. What he needs are laps here tonight.
Jim, we've talked a lot about the 51 of Clements and how that team is making a lot happen here tonight with not one of the larger budgets in the field.
Not by any stretch of the imagination, Ralph, but what a qualifying effort for Jeremy Clements. You see he started 7th. That was huge for this team. He's hanging right in there in the top 15, though. The car just a little bit tight in the center, but generally okay. Jeremy Clements, a run like this could attract a lot of attention, get some sponsor dollars on that car that they sorely need, Alex.
And Ben Rhodes was involved in that lap 2 crash over in turn number 1 a little earlier. They've gotten the car put back together just about as well as they possibly could. We reported after the crash that the toe end of the car, that's the direction of the front tires, was knocked from what would be a 12 o'clock position, which is perfect, to a 9 o'clock position. After numerous pit stops, as a matter of fact, 6 times on the pit lane, this team has been able to rally back, and now they've got the steering wheel back to Ben Rhodes in the 11 o'clock position. No, it's not perfect, but it's doggone close, and he's up to the 15th spot on the lead lap.
Yeah, and Clements, by the way, too, had a career best start here tonight as he started 7th.
And as you go through these bumps, the toe's not straight anyway. The wheels move in every direction there.
Last time it was straight was when it rolled off of pit road, right?
That's right.
Ryan Blaney has everything going his way for now at the front of the field here in Kentucky. Ryan Blaney with about a 4.5-second lead over Ty Dillon. Here in Kentucky, the final standalone race of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Let's take a look at tonight's Toyota driver update. Daniel Suarez, one of those drivers, he's up to third. The other really keeping an eye on here is Eric Jones, who's worked his way up to fifth. What you really like, as we were talking about in the break, how Suarez's car is kind of coming around on these longer green flag runs.
Yeah, his car's a little bit tight still. They made an adjustment. They'll make another adjustment, which is only going to help him speed-wise, as long as he doesn't go over that edge and get it on the free side. But it's really good in the longer runs. You start out with a tight car, it frees up some throughout your run. It doesn't wear the tires too bad. He's doing a nice job of managing that. You can see him now trying to take over that second spot. I think this could be a driver that Ryan Blaney has to deal with before this night's over if they're good with this next adjustment they make on the car.
You know, Mike, long green flag runs can be a benefit if you're a driver like Daniel Suarez, the way his car is handling tonight, or can be a real problem like for Chris Buescher.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Ralph, because it has been a handful for your championship leader this run. He's been saying it's been snappy loose, feels like it's on the splitter. Says when it's not on the splitter, it feels like it's wrecking loose. So obviously he can't wait to get down pit road and make some adjustments. They want to go back on what they did the last time they were on pit road, where they made a track bar adjustment. Expect those pit stops sometime within maybe the next 10 laps or so.
So much pressure for this guy thinking about that points championship. You had the opportunity with the pit stop to make a change. It didn't work. Now you see everybody getting further and further away from you. That pressure's got to be so tough to handle.
Yeah, pressure and frustration setting in. You can see this car is not driving well for Chris right now. You talk about the splitter getting on. There's really nothing you can change as a driver unless you just slow down to manage that splitter hitting at that time. You know, they're going to have to try to make some adjustment, take some time. They're going to hope for a caution here before too much longer to where they can get in before they would happen to get a lap down and make those adjustments.
We've only had 2 cautions so far here tonight. Working our way closer towards the next round of what should be green flag stops here coming up if we stay that way. Blaney continues to lead now over 5.5 seconds up front. Caution waves here in Kentucky just as the first couple of cars made their way to pit road. Eric Jones came down, took 4 tires and fuel. As he was exiting, the yellow comes out, and Blaney was rolling through pit road now, Dale.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is probably in seeing him roll on through pit road. Apparently he had made his commitment but did not get to the line, maybe onto pit road whenever the caution came out and the light closed pit road at that time. Otherwise, he could have stopped there and gone through his pit stop, and that would have still put him back out front. So I'm assuming, and we can probably see that he had made the commitment and was there, but the light came on before he got to the line.
Jones was the first one to dive to pit road, and he had gone about 51, 52 laps.
Okay, we see Ryan Blaney here make that. He wanted to try to get back out. You can see that he thought about that. Had a car right on his bumper, and he didn't have enough room to do that either. So no penalty here. You just go out and he lost his spots is the only thing. And they're not.
He's going to blend in behind the 16, we're being told by NASCAR. That would. There he'll go right around Elliott Sadler. He should slot in there.
Yeah, he's going to lose some spots there, but he'll be okay. Got a fast car.
We've gone a total of 53 green flag laps in that last run in between cautions. This is the 3rd caution.
Yeah, as you mentioned, we saw the 54 was on pit road. He was the first one of the top 5 to make that. He's a lap down now. What he will be able to do is take the wave around, get back on the lead lap, but he's going to be at the tail end of that. So he's going to have to pass cars once again.
He's been pretty good at it so far tonight. So Ty Dillon will lead everybody down pit road now. Pits are still closed. Everybody hanging on the bottom here.
You stay down there just so that you don't run out of fuel. They're going to be really close on fuel for some of them. So you get down on the flat to make sure that the fuel is getting to the pickup in the fuel cell there. If you stay up on the banking, you can run away from that. Most of them are over on the right side. The pickups are in the fuel cell. So they're very concerned about pit road not being open that time and putting them in a very difficult position here.
Jim, what can you tell us about the 54? He was that first car down pit road.
Yeah, it was very interesting. They were finishing up the left sides of a 4-tire stop when the caution came out. Went ahead and did their business. Eric Jones immediately came on the radio and said, "We're the leader, right?" Here you see them come in for a standard 4-tire stop. Eric Jones's car is so fast, and they made no changes. Did you see the windshield tear off and the 4 tires? But they were told that they would not be the leader. In fact, it looks, although they're appealing to NASCAR, like there'll be a lap down. Crew Chief Chris Gale told Eric Jones, "Do not worry about it, man. You've got a very fast race car."
No, there's no way they can be the leader. Obviously, they pitted, and other people haven't pitted. So, yeah, they are a lap down here. Again, they will take the waiver round as soon as these other lead lap cars make their way onto pit road, and then the 54 will cycle around. But in taking the waiver round, again, he'll be at the tail end of all of the cars.
Let's see with Ty Dillon. He should be leading everybody down to pit road this time. Pits are open. Here they come.
Yeah, get 4 tires this time. Pretty much everybody, I would say, will have 4 tires with that long run.
Let's go to Alex.
Ty Dillon did right side tires only on his first stop. This time at the top of your screen, the blue and black Camaro. They're going to do all 4 tires. The car got very tight the longer we went. Jim Noble.
Eric Jones in the middle of your screen calling for a 4-tire stop. He says he needs to roll the center better in traffic and clean here. He's okay. That's Brandon Jones in the 33, Mike.
As you saw moments ago, Ryan Blaney got caught on pit road. Greg Erwin called an audible, told him to roll through. This time, though, they'll make a 4-tire change and a chassis adjustment. The car's been 2 free.
Suarez is away. Here's our Geico race off pit road, and everybody's taking 4 tires. Scott jumps up 2. Bubba Wallace and Jones each claim 3 spots.
Yeah, pit crew's doing their job right there, getting those guys spots.
How about Dillon? He lost a bunch. So Scott, 4 fresh tires back out on the racetrack. We'll go back to green when we return. Mob Steel, an all-new series is on NBCSN tomorrow at 7 Eastern. Classic cars become modern street machines as Mob Steel works to rebuild Detroit one classic car at a time. Mob Steel tomorrow, 7 Eastern at the NASCAR Victory Lap here on NBCSN. Welcome back to NASCAR Xfinity Series racing from Kentucky, presented by Nexium. Brendan Poole back on pit road. Ralph Sheheen alongside Dale Jarrett, Mike Massaro, Jim Noble, and Alex Hayden helping with the coverage here tonight. Eric Jones rolling around in 18th. Daytona 500 winner Derek Cope had an uncontrolled tire on his number 70 after his pit stop. With more on the 54 of Jones. Jim, what can you tell us?
Well, Ralph, there's still a spirited debate going down here on why Eric Jones is a lap down. Crew Chief Chris Gale is saying, and their spotter is saying, that Eric Jones passed the start-finish line on pit road before the pace car did. But I heard DJ's explanation, which makes perfect sense. He pitted. How could it be the leader? But they're saying that if they weren't scored where they were, they could have taken a waiver round. NASCAR saying, no, you can't take the waiver round because you had hit pit road. Does that make sense?
Yeah, pretty much. They lost a lap. I mean, where they were sitting, the car came, that was before the pace car came. He'd gotten lapped by the leaders on the racetrack. So that's why they're the lap down. We're the lap down. They will take this waiver round and get back on the tail end. His problem, again, is he not only starts behind all of the lead lap cars, but he lines up behind all of the cars laps down. So all of those cars that he passed before, got to do it again. Yep.
Started 40th, had worked his way up inside the top 5, and pretty much going to have to do it again. Okay, so NASCAR now we're being told is giving him the lap back.
Okay, when the caution came out where he was positioned on pit road and before he got to the line, before the 3 car was able to go by him to put him that lap down, because they had slowed down because of the caution, obviously. So there's the 3. Well, no,
That's
I'm
still
sorry.
not there, yeah. That was a while, wasn't it? Wow. That was the one that went by.
Yeah, the 3 would have had to have been gone before. So it's at the start finish line. Well, here he had pitted. So didn't realize that the 3 had slowed down that much.
Yeah.
So
he's going to gain a lot of those spots back that he was going to have to work by.
Well, a lot of them, but he's still going to, I believe. I don't think well, we'll see where he lines up. Yes, I didn't see him rolling before that happened, as the 3 car slowed down for the caution and exactly where the 54 was. We were watching more the 22, and was he going to have to roll through? So now with the explanation, makes perfect sense.
Well, credit to the crew for selling their point, and credit to NASCAR for taking the time to get it right.
Yeah, they knew exactly what they had done and thought they knew where they were. But it becomes very confusing as you're watching everything happening and taking place there. But it makes perfect sense whenever you do think about that then. Yeah, we were just fortunate they made a good pit stop. They were able, that the 3 car slowed down as the leader, and more than that the 22 car had slowed down to come on the pit road, or they probably surely would have been a lap down because he was so far ahead of everyone.
Well, let's hear from Chris Gale, Jim.
That's right. Chris, tell us exactly what NASCAR is telling you about where Eric should be on the track in your case.
Yeah, I think NASCAR got it right in this time. There was just a little bit of confusion there. You know, we beat the 3 to the start finish, so we were on the lead lap after pitting under green. Then what should have happened probably is we should have, since we were on the lead lap, we should have caught back up to the back of the field. And then when everybody, pit, we should have assumed the lead then. And they were just late doing that. So I applaud NASCAR for correcting it, getting it right in this case. We're where we should be there in the lead. Just really, really good timing for being able to get that pit stop complete, be close enough to the leader to still get him off pit road and get the lead.
Makes sense to me, guys, but there will be a quiz later.
As long as I can look on DJ's paper, I'll be all right. Well, before we go green, of course, tomorrow, a tremendous amount of racing coming your way from Loudon, New Hampshire, and it's all right here on NBCSN. Start your day with NASCAR America Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Green flag around 2 o'clock, and then we'll close it all up with Victory Lap at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So who do you like in all this, TJ? I mean, Denny Hamlin, in my opinion, the only guy sleeping good tonight.
That is for sure. And my pick to win this whole thing was Matt Kenseth. I think he's still solidly, obviously, there. The Joe Gibbs racing cars are good. Watch Kevin Harvick tomorrow. He's been fast in all the practice sessions. He's great at rebounding after they've had a bad run when he's been at Stewart-Haas Racing. After they've had a 42nd place finish, he comes back with a vengeance. See if he can do it tomorrow.
He is going to be elbows up tomorrow.
He will be, but so will Kyle Busch, who won there back earlier this year.
Yeah, going to have to be. Going to be fun to watch. Catch it all tomorrow, right here in NBC. That's it.
After getting all that right, the 54 is the leader of this race now. So in less than 100 laps, he's gone from the back to the front.
Yep. And here we go. Let's see what he does on the high side for this restart. Green flag waves. Oh, Suarez cuts down and Wallace tries to cut him off. Contact there between the 6 and the 18. And how about the 33 trying to split 2 cars at the front? Jones going for the lead. Scott will take it down into the corner.
Wow, they were still 4 wide as they entered turn 3 there. Chase Elliott, bold move up on the outside.
He needed one too, didn't he?
Yeah, he sure did. He got marred back in about 10th there. Looked like they made some adjustments for him to go to the front.
Well, the 33 has all kinds of loose move around down there with Elliott right behind him. And here comes Blaney on the high side. He's got 3 wide in there with Suarez, and Elliott Sadler clears the both of them. A lot of cars moving around in the air and over the bumps here in Kentucky.
Yeah, it looks like the air's doing as much as what the bumps are as they race hard now. Drivers have made adjustments. They're trying to make their way inside the top 10.
Chris Buescher in that yellow and green 60 on the bottom has been waiting for his race car to get good and racy here tonight. He's starting to take advantage of it after that last pit stop, climbing up around the top 10. Sits in 11th. Up to the wall he goes. Brendan Gaughan coming through with Dillon in the 3, who led a lot of laps early.
Yeah, had a pit stop there that put him back, though. See, just in front of him, Ben Rhodes in that 88 car. You see the damage that he had from that first lap incident. He's got it pretty racy now at this point.
Getting the steering straightened out, as Alex Hayden was explaining on the 88, and it's starting to work. That crew's been working hard on it. He's now 11th behind Buescher. Credit to Tift in the 20 car. He's doing a nice job here tonight.
Yeah, he's done a solid job. He's raced hard. He's kept himself trying to make passes, but not crashing the race car. Doing an outstanding job, getting a lot of experience here.
Wow, did you see Chastain in that red 4 coming up off of 4? The rear end really starting to dance off the backside. Caution is out. Poole in the 42 slides up. Nowhere to go for the 0. Oh, man, and Rhodes goes right into him. And the fluids coming out of the bottom. This one's going to take a little while to clean up.
Yeah, Brendan Poole's been struggling with this race car all night since he got loose down there the first time. Messed up the right side of the car, took a lot of the side force and down force away. Spun here, and a lot more damage now.
Yeah, it looks like he took a bit of a shot there, too, right in the side. Finally catches his breath, lowers the window net. And Harrison Rhodes, look at the damage to the 0. Boy, he really had nowhere to go. Jim Noble, what can you tell us about the 42?
Well, that car was never right, Ralph, after the early wreck in the opening laps of this race. Brendan Poole was trying, but he got his hands full. He said the car's just not responding. It felt like he was going to spin out just about every lap, and then he kind of quieted down on the radio for a little bit of a run, but that car was taped together in the back, and the handling was way off. It was probably just a matter of time before he spun again.
And a tough night for the JD Motorsports crew. They lost both the 0 and the 0-1. Both those cars involved in incidents on the track tonight.
Yeah, you hate to see that for Johnny Davis Motorsports, that they tear up race cars, both of them with a lot of front end damage.
Well, at the halfway point of this one, and we're under caution, here's a look at Poole.
And that's kind of strange where that car went down. Almost looks like something broke on the car there. Harrison Rhodes come in, nowhere to go. Yeah, something broke in the rear end of the car right there. You can see it just spun him out. I don't think it could have just been a tire, but it acted more like something broke, and then the hard hit there at the end.
Yeah, he took a shot too, right on the driver's side of that car. He'll catch a ride to the infield care center. We'll take a ride to break. Stay with us. We're coming right back for more here on NBCSN. Welcome back to NASCAR Xfinity Series racing from Kentucky, presented by Nexium. The red flag is out. We are halfway through the 200 scheduled laps here in Kentucky due to this incident over the exit of turn 1. You can see all the fluids out on the racetrack, and the track cleanup crew has a lot of work to do over there. It's easier just to throw the red, stop the cars in the backstretch, let them clean it up properly.
Yeah, it lets the workers do their job without having to worry about the cars coming there. It also doesn't put the drivers in a position they have to drive through a lot of stuff.
Something broken. Poole starting to watch and listen here. There's nothing he can do with that part. You know, and DJ, for those of us that are just fans that have never done that. What kinds of things go through your mind as you're sliding across and you know you're going back up on the track in front of traffic?
Yeah, that's the bad thing, especially that driver's side towards the traffic coming. You're hoping everybody can miss you or at least get slowed down to the point that the hit isn't as hard as what it could be at full speed. And Harrison Road had tried to do that. You can see he was on the brake trying to slow down and avoid as much as he could. But it is a terrible feeling to be in because you have no control over the car sliding there. You're on the brakes trying to keep it from going there, and you just hope that everyone's able to avoid you.
Fortunately, both drivers are okay and able to walk away. We'll be right back to Kentucky. Stay with us. Here's a look at the cars just sitting on the backstretch here in Kentucky as we wait out this red flag period. Let's go down to the track and Mike Massaro.
And catching up now with the crew chief of the 2-car, that'd be Mike Hillman Jr. It seems like things are going pretty well. Your drivers led 38 laps so far this evening. We're at the midpoint. What's he been saying throughout the course of the night?
Well, we got a little loose the second run, Mike, but I think we got the Short Lodge Camaro tightened up to where we're going to be pretty good right here. So we get ready to get back going and see how it goes.
There was some discussion prior to the last restart over placement. Who was the leader, who wasn't? We heard the side of the story from the 54 camp. What was your take on that?
I was really confused. You know, the caution came out. We were getting ready to pit too, and we heard them talking about debris. So we stayed out one more lap, and the way everything worked out, we thought we were the leader. And, you know, NASCAR's seen it different. So we'll talk about it after the race and try to figure it out so we understand better for next time. But it all worked out when the restart started because we're in P1 right here, ready for the next one.
And that's where they'll roll off when the green flag does finally come back, Jim.
Well, Mike, Danny Stockman on top of the 33 pit box just told his young driver, Brandon Jones, you're playing with the big boys now. What message are you trying to get across to him?
Well, just trying to give them a little motivation. You know, these young guys need it, and when they get up front, you got to make some stuff happen. You got to have good restarts and just be really focused on hitting your shifts and your line into turn one, or else they'll just take advantage of you. So that's all that meant. Just real proud of Brandon Jones and what he's been able to accomplish coming from 22nd. We didn't really qualify where we wanted to. Fix that. And he's doing a heck of a job tonight. Just got to thank Menards and everybody for being there for us, and Xfinity for putting this race on for us.
The 33 team, by the way, has won 4 times with a variety of drivers this year, Alex.
Ty Dillon, Jim, sits in the 13th position. Crew chief is Nick Harrison. Nick, you guys took 2 tires. You got the extra bonus point for leading a lap. Mission accomplished there. Now, what's the remaining strategy headed towards the finish?
Well, Ty's did a great job all night, and all the guys worked really hard this week to come here and try to win the race. So we had a pit stop set us back just a little bit on track position, and that last restart, Ty he did the right thing. He was smart and kind of checked up in some bad situations. So lost a little position, but definitely feel like we're strong enough to drive back up through there, and it's only halfway yet. So we got to keep our morale up and let Ty drive to the front, do some strategy at the end to try to win this thing.
Not only a crew chief, but he's going to have to also be a psychologist to keep that morale up. That's Nick Harrison.
They're all going to have to do that, Dale.
It's what you got to do. You know, it's ebb and flows of the race and the way strategies play out, the positions you get in. You have to be patient whenever you're back in this situation and just hope that things play out for you to get back up to the front in that clean air again.
Cleanup continues over in turns 1, partway into turn 2. We'll be right back. Back here in Kentucky, and while the track crew works feverishly out on the surface to get it prepped to go racing again, our crew down in our NBCSN TV truck has been working hard with the replay machines to be able to straighten up, Dale, exactly how this scoring situation played out with Eric Jones. Let's show you exactly what happened between him and Dillon here now. And we've got this synced up with what we call time code in the business, which shows you exactly where the 2 cars were at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, this inner line here is the stripe for the start-finish line.
Just in front of where you see the advanced auto parts, that line that goes across, it starts white and goes to a blue line across there. That goes across from the start-finish line across pit road, so that we know that. So that's exactly where the start-finish line is on pit road.
Now, again, we synced up the time codes, so these two cars are running the exact same time. You see Jones on the right. Now, you're looking at the camera off the back of the 3. There's Jones going across the finish line, and as you can see, the 3 is not there yet. There he goes.
You can see that he wasn't to that yet. It was really, really close. And as I said, we weren't looking at that part of it whenever we started talking about everything. And actually, it didn't seem that NASCAR was either. The 54 team had to bring it to their attention. We were paying attention to the 22 getting on pit road, but they made the rule exactly right, or made the call exactly right for what it is. It was extremely close. You have to credit the 54 for making a great pit stop, Eric Jones for getting himself there and understanding the situation and what they were, and NASCAR made the call exactly right. But it was very, very close. We're talking feet, and probably the 3 car had slowed down because of the caution at that point just a little bit.
Yeah, well, as competitors and fans, all we want is the sanctioning body to get the call right. NASCAR certainly did that. Credit to them and credit to our crew down to the truck for getting that footage so that we could show that. Now, how about this here with Daniel Suarez? Hole in the front grille. Mike, what can you tell us about that?
Well, misfortune, obviously, for Daniel Suarez. He hit a piece of debris, and he had radioed in Eric Phillips saying he feels like it's maybe affecting the handling slightly. That didn't happen on that last caution, but prior to that, Eric Phillips told him it's about 12 by 12 in diameter. They're ready to make repairs, though, on pit road. They've got a piece of bare bond down here on the wall, ready to go. When they come down pit road, you can see a piece of sheet metal is affixed to it as well. As they come down pit road, they're going to slap that on the grill of the race car. They're also going to make a 4-tire change and some adjustments. But this is a pretty big deal for this car in terms of getting the handling right here at this racetrack.
It's been a very fast race car all night, too.
Has been, but that's certainly going to affect them quite a bit. They're going to have to figure out a way. I'm sure they've got a patch made that they can tape on there that will help it. Obviously, it'll never be as good as what it was whenever they didn't have this issue. But he had just kind of gotten his car right, but we saw the last run that he made that the car wasn't handling to the way that he was looking for it to. But he's also got put in some difficult situations on that restart. There was a lot going on.
You can see the crew looking at it, trying to take advantage of our camera angles, trying to figure out what to do. Well, they'll go to work on Suarez's car as soon as the track is ready over here in turn 1. A lot going on over there, too. You can see the track crew still working over here at turn 1. Trying to sweep the track clean right now. A lot of liquids came out of the 2 cars over there. A lot of grease sweep, kitty litter, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, a lot of cleanup to do there, and they certainly want to try to get the track back in condition before they turn the cars loose. But still a lot of cleanup to do. They've got a lot of people and equipment working on it. No fast way to do this, though.
No, it is, but when charging off down in there 180 miles an hour, you want to make sure it's nice and dry.
As a driver, you appreciate every effort that they make to get that as clean as they possibly can. You're never going to get it all blown off, so when we go back to Racing Green, you're going to see still some dust fly up from that, but you can see just how much was put. It looked like that from where Brennan Poole first went down. I think that's part of the issue. Whatever broke in that car at that point in time put down a lot of fluid, because you can see that's where he was on the apron and then went back up across the track.
Well, if you're just tuning into our live NBCSA coverage, here's why we're under this red flag condition. And Poole had let a lot of fluids onto the track. Then when he got hit by Rhodes, it just dumped even more out of there.
For new racing moms and dads, changing the way the world.
Yeah, they got a lot to do down there. Working their way through it. We'd only 4 cautions tonight for 21 laps, but this red flag period taking a while. Let's hear from Greg Irwin, Mike.
Yeah, and it gives these crew chiefs time to contemplate what they've already seen and perhaps plot their strategy for the second half of the race. Your car's been pretty good. Ryan's led 30 laps already tonight. What have you had to deal with so far?
Really just a little bit too tight to get going. When we get all bunched up on a restart and drive down into 1 and 2 here real hard, just doesn't quite have the turn in the front of the car early in a run. Obviously, I think as the run progresses, we get a little better relative to the field. You know, it's going to be a good race to see if we can make it back to the front from here, from 6th. I think if we back up on a couple adjustments here, I think we can get the discount tire Ford back up front and hopefully contend for a win.
Well, Alex, this is kind of like an unofficial halftime here in this race. Crew chief's making plans for the second half.
Yeah, Phil Gould, Mike, is the crew chief for Elliott Sadler. Well, you guys have had a pretty good race car to this point, sitting currently in the 5th position as we close in on the second half of this. The strategy, one more pit stop, is that what you guys are looking at?
Yeah, I think pretty much everybody can make it on one more stop for fuel from here, just past halfway there, so yeah.
What are you guys seeing as far as the tire wear here?
Tire wear has been really good. You know, we started off the race a little bit tight, and we freed it up, and then we got really loose, like the track got looser, which it usually does here. It seems to be a lot better now, though.
Phil Gould, he's the crew chief for Elliott Sadler, sitting in the 5th position. Goodyear tires are no problem, but the Sunoco fuel that they're going to have, that's what everybody's keying on.
18 minutes, 26 seconds, the length of the red flag that has been pulled back in. We are to caution now as the cars are rolling once again. We're going to go side by side now as we work our way back closer to green here at NBCSN. Well, you see the repairs being made to Daniel Suarez's 18 where a hole was punched through the front.
Yeah, they had to make the repairs. You don't want to give up that track position, but the track position wasn't going to do you any good if you don't make this and fix this at this time. They still have close to half of this race to work their way back to the front. Mike?
Well, it's interesting, DJ, after we did that report and showed the hole on the front, the team kind of huddled a little bit. I think they reevaluate their repair plan because they had a much smaller patch planned to go on that race car than what they actually did to fix. I think once they saw the video, they realized it was a bigger problem than they anticipated. You saw they pop riveted a piece of sheet metal to the hole, and then they covered that with Bear Bond. So a bigger repair job than they anticipated, but they pulled it off flawlessly, very quick on pit road.
Yeah, so this was a real halftime break. The coaches got together, decided what they needed to do, made a plan, and fixed it.
Let's see if that play pays off for them now. 4th caution of the night, 24 laps so far under yellow. We've had 6 leaders, 10 lead changes here as we get ready to tee up the second half.
Should be interesting. Brian Scott looks really fast when he's out front. Still looking for that. We've talked about it. Can he get that first victory? He's got a young man that just signed a contract to drive all next year. Brandon Jones trying to show everybody that he's very deserving of that, very hungry. What a great run he's had here from 22nd to 2nd already.
Brian Scott has 4 runner-up finishes without a win. He's tied for the most all-time with Stacy Compton. Yeah, that too's been pretty quick all weekend. But how about Eric Jones just lingering back there in the black 54? Came up a little short earlier today in New Hampshire, Jim, with the 7th. Trying to get it all together here tonight.
Yeah, this is a really good long run car, guys. Eric Jones' crew chief, Chris Gale, told him during that break, all we want to do is keep the guys in sight for the first 10 laps of a run. After that, we're the best long run car on the track. That car starts off a little free, and then as soon as he gets some laps under, gets back to neutral. So just keep an eye on Eric Jones if this run goes a long time.
Well, the lights are off on the pace truck. Alex, how about the 7?
Yeah, that's Regan Smith. He's currently running in the 7th position, and that car's been awfully tight for the better part of the race. They did make an adjustment on one of the pit stops today, and it went to the free side on that race car. But outside of that, that machine has been fairly decent. He's had a top 10 car. Nothing at the moment that he's been able to go up and compete for the race lead. But Regan Smith quietly inside the top 10, but they're going to need more than that if they want to win tonight.
Well, these restarts we've seen lately, Dale, have been pretty aggressive. We've got some young drivers up front. They're all hungry for wins. That might be the kind of thing that helps Regan Smith.
Yeah, it is going to be. It's going to get wild. It's only going to ramp up as the laps wind down too. As they drive off down in here, there's going to be a lot of dust come up from that speedy dry that was put down. See how they handle that.
Here we go for the second 100 laps at Kentucky. Look at him fanning out. Smith down to the bottom. 3 wide at the top. Here comes Jones. Down the backstretch and headed over to turn number 3. Scott with the lead. Elliott now up to second.
Yeah, Chase Elliott a couple of times now, early in the race and then here, really made that outside work to his advantage up the second spot.
That restart not going the way Eric Jones had wanted. He slipped back to about 5th. Blaney inches up in front of him. You see Suarez in and out of the throttle through the middle of the corner.
Yeah, in and out, but making time while he's back there. Really being aggressive on this restart.
How about the 88 of Rhodes down on the bottom of the black car there? He's had a rough ride, but he's worked at it with his crew, and he's up into the top 10 as you're on board with Dillon.
Yeah, Ty Dillon got extremely loose up in turns 3 and 4. Was able to hang on to it, came out in front of this group that you can see out his back.
3 wide behind him as he goes around Rhodes in that 88. Suarez tucked in right behind Elliott Sadler. Brendan Gaughan in the middle in the 62, and the point leader as the caution comes out, this time for debris, we're told. Turn 3, the area of the racetrack where NASCAR spotted something. There it is.
Yep.
That come off of the 18 maybe? No, still there. Looked about the same size.
Yeah, there's a number of candidates that could have come from, for sure.
Yeah. Yep, certainly. Only now 9 laps of racing into this second half of the race. That's our 5th caution of the night. So we're going to line them up and do it again. Another aggressive restart.
Catch our breath.
Get your nerves right. You got to do it again. NASCAR Mobile is the best way to follow your favorite drivers. Build your own leaderboards. Listen to driver in-car audio and watch live in-car cameras. Go to NASCAR.com/mobile. You know, they ran the July race here. They only had 5 cautions total. They've already had 5.
Yeah, and I see more on the horizon here. These restarts have just been crazy. We see this every time that we come here, just especially with these drivers. As I said, you've got drivers up here trying to get that first win. They're going to be as aggressive as they have to be to try to get out front.
Lights are off on the pace truck. That means we're set to go again.
See, Chase Elliott's going to restart second. He's been able to really make his time on the restart on the high side. Be very interesting here as he drives off into turn 1. Down on the bottom, how would his car respond?
We've seen them fan out, go 3 wide. Let's see how they do it this time. All right, here we go. Get ready. Green flag, and here we go. Back to turn 1. Three wide again.
Brandon Jones, a good run. He's making it 3 wide, going to the lead.
Jones on the bottom, comes out in the front. Eric Jones in the 54, 3 wide.
Bubba Wallace up through the middle, I believe, to take a spot.
He's going for 3rd, but he's got Jones on the inside of him. Look at this, 4 wide maybe coming off to the line. Oh boy, that's going to get tight as we get to 1. Rhodes in the 88 doing a great job of working his way back up towards the front.
You see Chase Elliott restarted second, falling all the way back to about 7th or 8th now.
Dillon in the 3 car. Gets himself into a single file position. He's in 5th. Boy, these restarts awful sketchy here tonight at Kentucky.
That's such a great job by Brandon Jones. Restarting 3rd there, you get those 2 guys in the front, racing each other, side drafting each other down there. Can't really get back to the gas. He motored right on past him off of turn 2.
Boy, if there's asphalt out there, these Xfinity Series drivers are going to use it on these restarts tonight, aren't they? 3 wide, 4 wide, not afraid to go high, low, or through the middle. Jones all the way to the wall. Dillon right there. Boy, that 54 went all the way up there, Dale. There wasn't anything left when he got out there.
No, his car's not handling to really suit what he would like to have right now. But he's trying to make the most of it, keep himself in a position. We heard he's got a better long-run car. He's just trying to hold his spot so he can get to that where he can utilize that.
Here comes Blaney. The discount tire back 22 on the inside of the Napa 9 to Chase Elliott. Those 2 drivers running 7th and 8th right now. Speaking of green flag runs, the longest one we've had here today was for 53 laps. Regan Smith in the 7. He holds down 6th, and it's Blaney, Elliott, and Sadler back to 9th, and Suarez holds down the 10th position. Mike, what do you hear on the 6 of Bubba Wallace running in 3rd?
Well, you know, I got to give a little attention to that restart there. I had a conversation with Bubba before this race about what he learned in July here, and he said, well, he had a good run, finished inside the top 10, but there's always a but. Something you need to do better the next time you come back. That but for Bubba, he said, was restarts. There was something mechanically missing in the race car when they were here in July. They went to work on that. They addressed it, and it would certainly appear by the looks of that last restart, they've gotten much better at it.
That's what you want to do when things don't go exactly right. The previous race, you want to learn. Is it things in our setup? Are there things that we need to do in the gearbox to help me on a restart there? Most of the time, it's just getting the car where the driver can be as aggressive as you need to be, and that aggressive meter's at about 100% right now on these restarts we've seen.
Ryan Blaney, pretty aggressive here, inside of Smith. Past him, that's for 6.
Trying to make his way back forward. He restarted 4th on that restart, but as things jammed up, he got caught. Some others had a lot of momentum, came by him, sent him back to about the 8th spot.
Oh, and the 25 into the wall. And the caution is out once again. Dylan Lupton.
Hold tight, just roll off. Haley just jumped him.
Dylan was running in 17th. Sixth caution of the night now.
See if we can see what happens here. It looks like maybe he just gets loose and then tries to correct. Yeah, hard contact then into the outside wall. Got a car right on his rear bumper. That also, as we talk about side by side, taking air off that rear spoiler, that car directly behind you will do the same thing, makes the back end of the car free. As he tried to correct it, then sent him hard into that outside wall.
I think that was a 28 at J.J. Yaley right behind him. He's going to get down off the racetrack. All right, DJ, what do you do here? What would you do?
I'm not a crew chief, so I don't. I think the biggest thing, you have to decide. They've got a couple of sets of tires left in the pits, new tires that they would have since the start of this race. So, as everybody, we heard Phil Gould talking about they were planning on just one more pit stop. But do you make this into a two-stop race? Now, I really believe we'll see some of them on pit road. Your choice to get 2 or 4 tires is going to be a choice that you're going to have to make. I would like to set myself up with the opportunity to maybe put 2 on. So get 4 now, put 2 on later on.
Well, we see a bunch of the crews up on the wall. We'll see who's faking and who's for real here. Jones is staying out. Everybody else just about coming in. Not everybody. There was some splits back there.
Alex. There's Ty Ty Dillon, he comes in with that blue and white Camaro, ripped the tear off away. Looks like definitely right side Goodyear Eagles going on, and that's all it's going to be. Jim.
4 tires for Eric Jones. He lost ground on that restart. Like we told you, they're going to do a little bit of air pressure to help him on a short run. Mike?
And Brian Scott has already completed his pit stop. Right side tires only, no adjustments. The 18 on pit road as well, Daniel Suarez. They're going to make a 4-tire change on that machine. He felt like the car just needed to be a little bit better if he were to contend for the victory tonight. They made an air pressure adjustment on that stop.
Brandon Jones, Blaney, Elliott, and Elliott Sadler all stayed out. Side-by-side coverage for you as we go to break here on NBCSN. With more coming your way from Kentucky. Get news, results, and highlights delivered to your inbox. Subscribe to the free official NASCAR newsletter, NASCAR.com/newsletter. Dale, we talked about how some teams are going to have to make aggressive moves on the racetrack to get the win tonight, some making it on pit road, and now as if the bumps and crashes and restarts aren't enough, that 2% chance of rain just showed up.
Sure changes things. Makes you wonder if some of those guys and crew chiefs were looking at that and kind of knowing that was a possibility. I don't think that it's something that's going to last for a long time, but did they have that in mind when they stayed out there?
Well, when we started the day, we sure didn't think that would be a storyline here tonight, but here's a look at our race recap. First caution came out on lap 2.
Yeah, action started early. Some drivers trying to make passes, real aggressive, got loose down in turn 1.
Reed, who had won the ARCA race earlier today in the middle of it in the 16. Problems for numerous cars. It didn't take long where things got going again here in lap 8. This is the 54 at Jones coming through the field. Then the 01. This team has had a lot of problems tonight, losing both their cars to incidents.
Yeah, Microsoft trying to make a pass there, coming off of turn 2, got loose into the wall hard.
Tough night for JD Motorsports. And how about Blaney in the 22? Dillon had led a bunch of laps, but Blaney came slicing through for the lead.
Yeah, it took 4 tires and a good race car and motored his way to the lead there.
One of the bigger hits of the night. Brendan Poole sliding through and then getting hammered by the 0.
Yeah, Harrison Rhodes really with nowhere to go. A lot of fluids and parts and pieces on the track. Had to go to red flag, clean up everything here.
That red flag lasted 18.5 minutes. Last caution due to this right here, 25. Dylan Lupton into the wall. Brandon Jones, currently the leader. We've had 7 different leaders, 11 lead changes, 6 cautions, 1 more than we had completely back here in July. Only 5 then, 6 already tonight.
Yeah, and this latest one, probably the biggest one, because it got us certainly on a lot of split strategies, as we see rain still coming down right at this moment. But we've got 4 cars up in the front that elected to stay out. A couple of others that took 2 tires right behind them. And then some others that have 4. So a lot of different strategies being played out here.
Caution is going to stay out while the rain continues to fall, and try to keep a little heat in the cars and the track. See if we can just get through this little bit of a rain shower here. Jim, can you update us on the cars that stayed out on the track?
Yeah, we'll begin with leader Brandon Jones. There was a ton of conversation between Brandon Jones and his crew chief, Danny Stockman Jr., about coming in, staying out. They changed their mind about 3 times. Finally, Danny Stockman came over the radio, Ralph, and said, we are not in our fuel window. It doesn't help us to pit right now. So they stayed out, but there was no discussion of rain. This light drizzle, and I stress very light drizzle that we're feeling right now, that really started after the decision to stay out. Mike?
Jim, it was interesting monitoring the radio of the 9 car. Ernie Cope, just before anybody hit pit road, said, hey, let's pay attention to what the leaders do. Then, of course, we saw the leaders come down pit road, and the 9 did not follow. He wanted to do something different than what the leaders did, so wanted to implement that strategy. Let's also add to the equation fuel strategy. It wasn't too long ago that Ernie Cope was telling his drivers, save fuel. We can do this on just one more stop. Alex?
Mike, Elliott Sadler's car in this last short green flag run was very loose. However, his crew chief Phil Gould said, stay on the racetrack. We're going to be disciplined to what we have in our plan and our strategy. Initially, they said they can go around lap 143, but with these long extended cautions, that fuel window can be pushed even further, somewhere in the neighborhood of lap 155 or so. They're going to stay disciplined, stay on the racetrack, keep that track position, but this very, very light sprinkle that's falling here at Kentucky Speedway did not come into play in his decision-making process. It's just a matter of sticking to their guns and the strategy that they've played out.
You know, as we look at our broadcast window here, high above the start-finish line, the top of the grandstands, down you look at the rain coming out of the sky, it actually looks more like a light snow just falling down. That's how little rain there really is. And of course, the beauty of smartphones and tablets, we've looked at the weather radar and it doesn't even show any rain.
No, it doesn't, but unfortunately it's put us on a halt for here for just a few more laps. Hopefully clears up.
Buescher finally starting to work his way back to where he needs to be. The points leader, we saw him fall as far back as 15th during the early portions of the race, and at least now he's back in the top 10.
Yeah, he's back in the top 10 for the time being. I know they've made a lot of adjustments, and I think this could be a little strategy that was played that's got him in this position. We'll see when we go back to green if he's able to hold himself in the top 10. You can see right now the damage points-wise would be minimal, but we've also seen Ty Dillon and Chase Elliott both up towards the front of this, and Chris Buescher outside of the top 10. So as we get back and complete this race, where's all of this going to play out?
Well, the Visit MyrtleBeach.com 300 here on NBCSN has seen a little bit of everything. We still got quite a few laps to go.
Yeah, and a lot more of everything that could happen.
Yeah. 75 still to go. There you see the clouds passing over that full moon. That just tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it?
Saturday night racing with a full moon doesn't get any better or more exciting than that.
All part of the lead up here on NBCSN to the great racing yet to come tomorrow from Loudon, New Hampshire, the second race in the chase. Formula One yet to go later tonight. Just stay up all night.
Sounds like a plan. Racing all the way through, get yourself ready, and plenty of coffee, and you'll be ready for Loudon tomorrow afternoon.
Good to go, yeah. All right, so restarts have been challenging. They've been intense. These drivers are getting quite a bit of practice at it, too.
Yeah, the first time that Brandon Jones has been in charge of this restart. Let's see how he goes about this. He has chosen the outside. He took the lead from the inside earlier, but that was back in third spot. See if he can hold Blaney off. But we've seen these leaders really bunch things up as they get loose down into turn one, and then others be able to make leads and charge to the front.
Here we go. Blaney inches right up alongside. Bringing him slowly to the line. Jones jumps on it, the green flag waves, and here we go.
Bubba Wallace once again.
Yeah, so there's contact in there with Scott in the two. Blaney goes to the lead.
He got a big push from Chase Elliott in the 9 car down the inside. That helped get him to the front.
Buescher trying to claw through there in the 60.
Buescher's in a really dangerous spot right here right now. He's got some cars around him that have 4 tires a little faster. See if he can come out of this unscathed.
Jones trying to slip past Brendan Gaughan. He's got Rhodes now there in the 88. That's back in 12.
Yeah, you see our points leader in the middle of a 3-wide battle, I believe.
Maybe 4 wide. Yeah. Boy, these restarts have been great. And Buescher, problems back there with Scott.
Yeah, he just had to get out of the gas. He was in the middle there. His car got extremely loose. He's been fighting a handling situation. That's not what you want to be in. on one of these restarts.
It has been a rough night for the Xfinity Series points leader, Chris Buescher, here tonight.
What great racing we're seeing here. They're 2 and 3, sometimes 4 wide on these restarts. Just outstanding.
Suarez in the 18. He's got Bubba Wallace pushing him. Wallace on the bottom in the 6. Here's Buescher still trying to find a way through. Just can't get the 60 to handle the way he wants. Tift has been right near the top 10 all night as well in the 20. Watch the 6 and the 2 here get together. Here comes Wallace. They meet right in the middle.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace had made that move work the last time, going up and caught a couple of people sleeping, left that open for him. He thought he would try it again. Brian Scott wasn't having any of that, though.
Elliott Sadler in the blue number 1. Elliott in third, fighting with Chase Elliott. Mike, what can you tell us?
Well, we just saw the replay of what transpired on that restart there with the 2 car. Brian Scott afterwards, as you might imagine, not very happy. Now, whether or not he was upset because of what transpired on the racetrack or what the effect had on his race car is up for interpretation, but he radioed in very upset, I might add. Can't really say exactly what he said, but he did call the car junk. His spotter, Mike Dillon, had to try to calm him down, and the one word Dillon used, hey, buddy, focus.
Still got a lot of racing to do.
A lot of racing to do, but you can tell it's really affected that 2 car, Brian Scott. And, you know, sometimes it gets in your head more. You know that there was contact, then your car's not doing exactly what you want. Hard to overcome that, especially with someone that thought that this might be the night with Brian Scott, that he had the car to get himself in that position.
Eric Jones has overcome quite a bit. He's up to 9th. Here's the battle for 3rd.
Yeah, certainly a good run for Elliott Sadler. One of the best that we've seen in a while. They were excited about the car. Elliott ran really good back here in July. He was excited to get back here, see if they could improve that just a little bit, get him up in a position to try to win another one of these Xfinity races.
To the bottom comes Elliott. Drifts wide across the racetrack. Don't forget the top 4 all stayed out. 30-lap older tires.
Older tires, but cleaner air that they get. So, you know, see what's the balance, what's going to happen. They're obviously, they will have to be on pit road sooner if we get an extended green flag run, but it could be just that one time that they have to get on pit road to the end of this race.
Elliott Sadler 5th in the points. His best run is 2nd at Daytona this summer. Watch Wallace here in the 6.
Yeah, I think he's changed 2 tires a couple of times. He may still have the left sides on from a while back, and just, he's got a lot of laps on those. His car's getting loose. He had a car up close to him there once again, freeing him up. Difficult situation again. The 54s made adjustments, plus they put 4 tires on the last time, which kind of sets him up if we have a situation later on that he could possibly get 2 and gain some track position that way, speaking of Eric Jones. But this man right here, Ryan Blaney's out front, running as hard as he can right now to get as far out front as he can. If they have to make that green flag pit stop, then he'll be in a better situation as he comes back on the track.
Let's update the teams and go through the field, beginning with Mike Massaro.
Well, Ryan Blaney, for him, there's been some anxious moments, especially on the restarts, where you can sense that his anxiety level, shall we say, went up a little bit. But one thing that's settled him down is the fact that he knows he's got a good race car. I spoke with him before this race. He said the one advantage he has over the rest of the field, looking at lap tracker today, he felt like his car maintained speed over the course of a long run better than anybody else. Jim?
Mike, the last thing Brandon Jones said about the number 33 car was it was really good. He has been saving a lot of fuel during the caution, so we're not sure what their fuel strategy is. This could be the beginning of something big. It's Brandon Jones's first ever mile-and-a-half race at a NASCAR Xfinity Series track, and this is his last race of the year for Richard Childress Racing. Of course, he will be full-time in that organization in 2016, Mike.
Now, what a remarkable turnaround it has been for the 9 team this weekend. In practice, practice earlier this weekend, his crew chief, Chase Elliott's crew chief, Ernie Cope, was just beside himself. Extreme frustration during practices. They just could not get the balance right on this race car. But somehow, during qualifying this afternoon, the car came to life, and it has been a joy to drive for Chase Elliott today. He's towards the front. I don't think if you had asked him yesterday that he expect to be in the top 5 right now, I think he probably would tell you no. But right now, enjoying where he is and still thinks he's got a shot at the win, Alex.
Mike Elliott Sadler running now in the number 4 position. That bright blue one main financial Ford is very tight, especially as you see right up underneath the rear spoiler of another car, in this case Chase Elliott. They're playing out their fuel strategy. Expect them on the pit lane somewhere in the next 10 laps or so if this thing stays under the green flag. The 5th place running car, that's Ty Dillon. He's already led a lap tonight, got a championship point. He said the car at the moment is neutral. It's been on the tight side, it's been on the free side. They've made good adjustments, although they haven't been very big adjustments. Ty Dillon currently runs in the 5th spot. Riding in the number 6 position is Regan Smith. Simple word for Regan Smith on this particular green flag run is free, meaning the car really doesn't have a whole lot of grip on any corner. The car begins to slide just a bit in the middle, as you see there. He went in right up against the yellow line. Car slid all the way up towards the outside wall. Car too free for Regan Smith running in the 6th spot. Mike?
Alex, you saw the repairs that were made to the 18 car. You can see right there on the front grille on the left side, the patch. Well, it has effectively helped the handling of that race car. It was extremely tight before they made that adjustment and that repair, but Suarez has said the car is back to where it was prior to the damage and feels like he's got a pretty good race car right now, Jim.
It has been a very long day for Eric Jones, but what he needs right now is a long run. He's sitting 8th right now. Of course, he competed in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race at New Hampshire Motor Speedway and finished 7th. This is working into Eric Jones's favor. Good on the long run, gets in his fuel window in about 2 more laps. We will see what the 54 has for everybody else, Mike.
Jim, one thing that Darrell Wallace learned about his race car throughout the course of practice earlier this weekend is that it was very sensitive to any change they would make. They would go from tight to loose in a heartbeat. So they've had to make very small adjustments throughout the course of the night to try to tighten that car up. Just a small track bar adjustment really has been the only significant adjustment on the 6 car. But right now, he's pretty happy with it, Alex.
Brendan Gaughan rides in the 10th position, Mike, and Brendan has not really been inside the top 10 for most of the evening. They got way off after their first pit stop on their adjustments. It's taken them this long to get the car back. Brendan Gaughan, affectionately known to a lot of people in the garage area as Uncle Grinny, which, by the way, is the name of a horse that won down at Louisiana Downs. It's a $75,000 purse. It took the win, and yes, it was named after Brendan Gaughan.
Brendan Gaughan battling with Tift in that 20. We saw Brian Scott make his pit stop. He had dropped all the way back to 15th for that green flag stop. There's their pit stop.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he didn't have a right front tire that had gone down after that contact with Bubba Wallace on the restart, but certainly this car wasn't to his liking. Needed to get onto pit road, Mike.
Yeah, and it was a problem, but it wasn't the tire going down. He had experienced a vibration in that tire, so obviously it seemed like it was a loose wheel. They had to come down pit road. They had no choice.
Tough break for a driver. Had a fast race car tonight. He was up front quite a bit.
Yeah, he led a lot of laps, but that's not what he's looking. He's looking to lead that last lap at one of these races.
Activity on pit road should be picking up here soon. Dillon in the 3. Runs in 5th. Regan Smith right behind him. Here's that battle still going between Elliott Sadler and Chase Elliott.
Yeah, about every other lap, Elliott Sadler gets a run on Chase Elliott off of turn 4, but can't ever make and complete that pass. And with his car still being a little bit on the free side, you can see it's turning really good, but you get on the inside there, you just can't drive it off in the corner the way that you need to with that commitment and know that it's going to stay under you as you try to complete that pass.
Chase Elliott finishing in the top 10 in 8 of the last 10 races this season. Having a good night in the points too right now. The way they're running on the track right now, he would be second in the points, 16 behind Buescher.
Yeah, Buescher's fallen back left like we thought may happen when they went back to green. Buescher's back in the 13th spot right now, trying to work his way back towards the top 10, but not having much success at it at this moment.
Laps remaining now. The longest green flag run we've had tonight has been for 53 laps.
And I would think that we'll start seeing these guys, especially those 4 that stayed out, which are still our top 4, Ryan Blaney, Brandon Jones, Chase Elliott, and Elliott Sadler, be getting ready to hit pit road. They probably want to give themselves a little bit of a cushion for a green-white checker, something like that, but they're going to be getting here pretty soon. And with the lead that Ryan Blaney has put out there, and he's going to be able to make the pit stop and not be behind.
Brandon Jones, here he comes. Jim, go ahead.
Brandon Jones was just told to be very smooth on pit road, no penalties. He's a little tight off exit as he slides into his pit stall. He'll get 4 Goodyear tires, full load of Sunoco Racing fuel. They'll put a little teeth on the front for some downforce. Other than that, no other adjustments for a very, very fast 33 car, and Brandon Jones is down and away.
He's away, and it looks like Chase Elliott and Elliott Sadler will come in together.
Elliott Sadler pulls into his box. You saw a wiggle by Sadler. He nearly drove through too many pit boxes, and that would have brought themselves a penalty. Looks like he made it legal. They're going to change all 4 Goodyear tires, top it off with Sunoco fuel. This car was awful thirsty after staying out after the last caution flag. Mike?
Chase Elliott very happy with his race car. So much, in fact, they'll make no adjustments. 4 Goodyear tires and 2 cans of Sunoco race fuel. That's the only call for the 9 as they go to work now on the left side trying to complete service, and he's finally away 13.4 seconds.
So they came in together, they'll exit together.
Yeah, looks like Sadler might have the upper hand, but the 9's got the inside track as they leave pit road, so he's going to retain the spot just in front of Elliott Sadler.
Good work by both those crews. Here comes Blaney now.
Yeah, you just don't want to, you've got a fast race car, don't speed getting on pit road or in any of these segments.
It's a long way down pit road, though, for Blaney. He is all the way around the entrance into turn number 1, and Mike Massaro waits.
And they're counting him down as he heads to his pit stall, makes his stop, hits his marks, team springs off the wall, goes to work on the right side. No significant adjustments, a small air pressure adjustment, that is all. 4 tires and fuel for Ryan Blaney as he looks for the win here tonight.
So these guys are going to have to stay out there and wait for everything to cycle through now, Dale.
Yeah, and Ty Dillon is going just by the 22 now. You can see he's going to be a lap down for just a little bit of time here. So his hope is that things will cycle around and that this will stay green flag until the other guys have to hit pit road.
27 laps of green flag racing so far since we've gone back to a clean racetrack. So Dillon out front, Regan Smith, and Eric Jones. Can't shake him,
Can't get away. Doesn't matter what he's encountered. He's been able to have some good fortune. So he's trying to take that second spot away from Regan Smith right now. He's done a nice job of managing this race tonight with the car, continuing to work on it, making it better and better. See if he can get it right and have a shot at this when it gets down to lap 200.
He's taking a shot at second right here.
Yeah, Regan Smith not going to let him have it easy, though. You can see kind of side drafted him just a little bit there. Going to make it difficult for Eric Jones to get enough of a run. You can see really loose right there. Now here comes Ryan Blaney on the outside.
Blaney in this as well after having just completed his pit stop. Those fresh tires make a whole world of difference, don't they?
Well, you got, fresh tires and a really good car. He had stretched out to almost a 7-second lead before he made that pit stop. So he's got an outstanding car. He would really like to, even if a caution would come out, if he can get up and unlap himself in front of the 22, then he's probably not going to get back on the pit road. You saw how good his car ran on older tires, so he could cycle around as the leader if he's able to run up to Ty Dillon and get by him before we would have a caution, which he's gaining on him quickly.
Yeah, boy, he's there now. 0.8 of a second faster than the leader. Here he comes. Right up alongside and driving away. Ty Dillon listed as the leader. But boy, that 22 is certainly the fastest car on the racetrack. Smith, Jones, Suarez, and Tift in the top 5.
These wings are pretty great, huh?
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh, it's a wing ring.
What's a wing ring?
I ask it what kind of wings I should have, and it tells me. Today it said honey barbecue.
I want to ask it a question.
Oh, you know what? I got like 2% battery on this thing.
Come on, let me just...
Yeah, I wish I could.
Your battery in a ring?
Yeah, it's like 8 gigs.
That's 2 different things. One is memory and one's battery life.
Cool. All I know is like, no, you can't use it.
Good luck choosing 100% all-white meat boneless chicken wings in 6 delicious flavors. Or buy one, get one free every Monday night. This is how you Sonic.
Today we're going to talk about trucks.
Works for me.
Which truck brand do you think offers best-in-class HD towing?
Ford. I would say the Ram.
Okay, let's move to the second door. Best V8 horsepower.
The Ram. I say Ford on the V8. Chevy.
What about this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year?
Chevy.
What do you think?
The Ford.
The Ford?
There's no reason why they shouldn't be.
Let's see how you did. That's the Chevy Silverado HD, the Chevy Silverado, and the Chevy Colorado.
No way. Chevy.
Wow.
That's a clean sweep.
Motorcycle. Great rates for great rides.
The keys to this home belong to Mark and Alyssa Anderson. They bought the place 4 months ago on what was arguably the scariest day of their lives. Neither has any idea what the future holds for them, but they bought into a 30-year mortgage anyway. That was bold. They must really believe in themselves. Buy in. Quicken Loans. Home buy, refi, power.
At Sprint, we're building the world's best network, faster and more reliable than ever. We've already invested over $20 billion in 23 million hours. Our customers are noticing, and we're being recognized across the country because our network is stronger, faster, and more reliable than ever before. And we're just getting started. It's time to move forward and cut your rate plan in half. Bring us your Verizon or AT&T bill, turn in your old phone, and switch to Sprint today.
You saw it during our side-by-side coverage. Eric Jones, who started 40th here tonight with the green flag waved, is the new leader here in Kentucky. Here's how he did it.
Able to drive around on the outside. That's 4 tires that 54 of Eric Jones took versus the 2 tires that Ty Dillon took on that last pit stop. Not to mention he's an outstanding driver, but so is Ty Dillon. But I believe it's the tires that are really making the difference right now. And they've worked on this 54 to get it set up for Eric Jones. And he's driving the wheels off this thing right now. I've seen him sideways a number of times in the center and exit of these corners, but going forward.
He's trying to get as much of a gap as he can, getting ready to make his pit stop, right, Jim?
Absolutely, you could expect Eric Jones to hit pit road around lap 177. Remember, the longer he runs, the better he is. But right now, the car feels like it's a little bit out of the racetrack, kind of skating on top, especially during turns 1 and 2. Chris Gale said, I think we might cycle out behind the leader after we pit, but this will get us as close as we can get.
And he's got more options than some of the others up front.
He does have some options. He put on 4 tires, which I said last time I liked. We got caution now, so they're going to get 4 under caution.
7th one of the night.
It's like Ben Rhodes, the 88, had some contact off of turn 4.
Yeah, we're looking at Clemens' car, too, in the 51. But there's Rhodes. You can see the whole right side of that car where he went up along the wall. That right front tire just barely hanging on. Ben had a rough night, and Dale, he had driven very hard even after having the problems in the early stages.
Yeah, and this has the makings of a right front tire going down. We talked about the problems of the toe end being out with the tires out on that after he had that accident early on. That's what you can do. You wear the inside of the tire out, and then it'll blow out on him.
He had worked his way up to 10th in the 88.
And I'm not saying that's exactly what happened, but it certainly has the looks of something like that happening.
18-year-old driver in his race here at his home track. Watch the upper left side of the screen.
Yeah, there's no doubt that I don't believe that a tire let go there. And you'd have to think on a longer green flag run, it's the longest since he had been in that situation that had happened.
Chase Elliott's going to get the free pass. Well, let's see what strategy they play.
Yeah, they're going to, obviously, they've got to come to pit road with the 54, the 3, the 7, the 18. I expect those guys to take 4 tires now. I would have thought the 54 could have played some strategy, but he's going to need 4 tires to deal with the 22 car. I don't think that we're going to see Ryan Blaney on pit road. I believe that he's going to stay out and assume the lead.
Well, I'm sure the chatter on the radio is pretty busy right now. The drivers are making their way down turn 2. Crew chiefs making their decisions, and we'll be playing those cards here real soon. Everybody ready. Suarez's bunch right there on the wall. Field entering turn 3. Looks like the 54 is down low, ready to go to pit road. Pit road is open. Here they come. And we will see Eric Jones and the rest on pit road, Alex.
Regan Smith will be the first. There are only 31 laps to the finish. That means 6 gallons of Sunoco fuel. That's 1 can. They're going to put at least right side tires on for Regan Smith, trying to pick up another win. Jim.
Eric Jones told not to slide his tires. Why? They're only going to put 2 Goodyears on. They're going to give him a splash of fuel and try to get some track position, Mike.
Bubba Wallace saying his car has been loose. They're going to put a round in the left rear. They're also going to take 4 tires and 1 can of Sunoco race fuel. Meanwhile, problems for the 18 of Daniel Suarez and the transmission. Appears to be stuck in 4th gear. He could have a problem getting off of pit road here. They're going to make a 4-tire change and a track bar adjustment, but obviously very serious concerns in terms of getting up through the gearbox off of pit road. You see one of the crew members inside. They're trying to make some sort of repair, trying to help him with that transmission issue as much as they can, but obviously this is going to end any chance of victory here tonight.
That's a shame. That was a fast race car earlier tonight. Then they had the hole through the front nose. Boy, they really had some struggles here.
Yeah, I thought when he came in, he was going to be in really good shape to either play strategy with 2 or take the 4 and still be in a really good position with the fast car that you were talking about. This is very unfortunate for him, but something that they need to fix. You just have high gear, hard to get in and out of the pits. Also hard on the restarts, obviously. I was surprised that Chris Gale in the 54 car with Eric Jones driving, that they opted for 2 tires there because pretty much everybody else had put themselves in a box that they needed to get 4 this time because they'd gotten 2 last time because they should come. Eric Jones in the 54 could have come off, changed 4, and still come out first and been beside the 22.
Suarez finally rolling away. Now we'll see how these different strategies play out when we return. Tonight at 12:30 a.m. Eastern, the Samurai of Speed head to the land of the rising sun. Can Lewis Hamilton keep his bid for back-to-back championships on track? The F1 Japanese Grand Prix live tonight at 12:30 a.m. Eastern on NBCSN. Coverage presented by Power Shares. No right side window here on the 18. Remember, the crew member crawled through there to try to get that transmission fixed. He's back behind the wall.
Yeah, they didn't put that back in knowing they were coming back here and see if they can get everything done that they needed to do.
About Ryan Truex running in 9th. Car number 98. You and I have commented on it all weekend. The Carroll Shelby Engine Company back Ford. Looks to you and I like a GT350 from back in the day. The classic Shelby Mustang paint job, the white with the blue American Racing stripes.
Yeah, looks great. Ryan's doing a nice job. They've got a number of drivers right there. Ross Chastain in the 10th spot. Ryan Sieg in that number 39. He's in 11th. And Cale Conley in the 14 car. They're in 12th spot. So some guys having some really good runs tonight. You know, that's what we get. You know, you don't get all the Cup guys in there. They put on great shows, but we've had some really good racing tonight.
We've had some incredible restarts. We're about to have another. 29 laps to go. Gonna have to get up on the wheel here as a green flag waves. Jones right up alongside of Blaney as they enter into 1. Who's gonna come out with the lead? Blaney has it as we go down the backstretch. Three wide, deep in the pack, maybe 4 wide here. Oh, contact through there. Conley, Chastain, and Truex. Yaley in the 28. Look out for Clements in the 51. Scott's in the 2. A lot of sheet metal getting dinged up and banged up in that group.
Yeah, all those drivers we were talking about having a great night, trying to get a little more out of it.
Chase Elliott in the 9's got Busher. 2 guys fighting for the championship here this year. Those 2 drivers running 7th and 8th. Now Blaney starting to stretch it out. How about Tift and the UNC Charlotte number 20? He's up to 2nd, Dale. Great run. On board here with Dillon. Right behind Gaughan, who holds down 4th.
Yeah, the best that we've seen Brendan Gaughan tonight here at the end, which is the way that he won this race last year, getting his car and strategy being right at the very end.
Scott in the 2 car runs in 12th.
Yeah, we had Brian Scott and Elliott Sadler and Brandon Jones all take the wave around to get back on the lead lap there. About Matt Tift in that 20 car. What a great story. This young man, 19 years old, first time in an Xfinity car for Joe Gibbs Racing. Just been solid all night. It's just worked on his car, made it better and better, learned what experience he's gotten here tonight. Now he's got himself in a position to possibly win this race.
Having an outstanding showing as Dillon tries to hang on in this top 5 group. Ty in 4th, but Gaughan is closing in on the South Point 62. Here's Scott and Clements. Those two drivers still battling over 12. Piece is missing out the back of the 51. Lots of damage back there. Brandon Jones trying to get in that group as well. The 33 running in 14th.
How about our points leader, Chris Buescher? We talked about his struggles all night long. Been outside of the top 10 the majority of this race. Been working on this car time after time. Now they've got him running 8th. Really a good job, and that's what his year has been about, is minimizing the mistakes and the points lost whenever he hasn't been at his very best.
Championships are won by making the most out of your worst performances, and they're doing that tonight.
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt told me a long time ago when I was racing for a championship in '99, he said, you're going to remember the races where you took a 20th place car and somehow finished in the top 10 or top 5 more than you're going to remember your victories. And that's exactly what Chris Buescher's doing here tonight.
How about this battle? Caution out. Just as we were watching this one between Dillon and Jones, there's a car over here. The 24 car.
Slow down.
We hear the crews talking on the radios. Eric McClure. It's going to be less than 20 to go when we get back to green. One more restart.
Yeah, certainly Ryan Blaney didn't want to see that caution. He jumped out and had a nice lead. But this is going to get young Matt Tifft an opportunity on a restart. See what he can do from the inside of Ryan Blaney. See if he can somehow wrestle the lead away. It's like there was some racing side by side going on, and Eric McClure got sideways and couldn't correct it and into the outside wall.
Might have been the 90 car that he was battling there. Martin Roy. They still have not been able to get McClure's car out of the way yet. There they are talking to Eric. Five drivers won in their Xfinity Series debut, but all 5 had competed in Cup before that. Not so for the 20.
No, he might have competed in some kind of cup, but it wasn't the Sprint Cup that we were talking about.
Well, he has run some of the Truck Series. A look at drivers with their first career Xfinity Series win here at Kentucky.
It's a pretty nice group to be a part of, too. Outstanding drivers there. See, Logano was the best in only his 3rd career start in winning here at Kentucky.
Tifft has been racing part-time in the Truck Series for Kyle Busch Motorsports and competing in ARCA as well. College student at UNC when he's not behind of a race car. UNC Charlotte on the hood of his machine. Let's go through the top 3 with our gentlemen covering the action on pit road tonight.
Ralph, it's already been a rebound weekend for the 22 team, who had extreme disappointment a week ago in Chicagoland with a blown left rear tire. Tonight, though, very much in contention for the win. They haven't said much to Ryan Blaney over the course of that last run, just calling out lap times and giving him an idea of what his lead was lap after lap. When the caution came out, nothing was said on the radio, no disappointment whatsoever. The only thing that's been mentioned since was he really loves clean air. He definitely wants to stay out front, Alex.
Matt Tifft, Mike, making his first career Xfinity Series start, and he's found himself not only in position to have a top 5 finish, but position to potentially pick up a win, and basically a good way to start off his career. Matt Tifft, he's very enthusiastic. His crew chief Michael Wheeler said he loved the enthusiasm, loves the feedback he gets on that race car, and this is a business major student at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte. You see all over the race car, UNC Charlotte. Dale Jarrett mentioned a moment ago that they had their first ever football night game tonight. Unfortunately, UNC Charlotte lost that 17-7 to Florida Atlantic. Jim?
Well, Eric Jones, of course, started in the rear of the field after racing today in New Hampshire and missing qualifying, racing in the truck race in New Hampshire. Worked his way up to third, but right when that caution came out, he got on the radio and was livid. Said, this car is plowing tight. It's like we flipped a switch. Chris Gale, the crew chief, tried to talk him back off the ledge, but this may be all Eric Jones has left of him, but you never count out a talented driver like him.
You know, Ross Kenseth finished 6th at Chicago in the number 20, his best finish by a driver in their debut this season. Good to see Eric McClure out of the car. It's a little dazed, though.
Yeah, sometimes we take that for granted when we see him just what we think's a slow slide and back into the wall is still at a high rate of speed, but good to see Eric out.
Down on that pit lane, and honestly, I just heard Ryan talk with Greg Irwin about
Well, we're going to get one more restart here. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch to see. Jones' car sounds like it's not perfect, the 54. Ty Dillon right there in the 3. But how about Matt Tifft? What does he have in store for Blaney? Well, you said at the beginning of the show, Dale, that 22 was the car. Well, he's lived up to it.
Well, he's proved that, yeah, and he is. And this is just an excellent race team. Very good driver. I would have never expected Matt Tifft to be up here in second with an opportunity here. I don't think he can beat Blaney on this restart, but we've seen all kinds of crazy things happen. If Blaney should miss the corner just a little bit or something and get things bottled up. Ty Dillon sitting right there. He's going to be on Blaney's bumper on this restart as he restarts on the outside. He's got 4 fresh tires, which are fresher than what the 22 car has. So can he make a run and somehow get himself in a position to win this race?
Well, and don't forget, following us, Premier Boxing Champions coming your way next, right here on NBCSN, coming your way from Birmingham, Alabama. We're going to have about 15 to go when we go back to green. And how about Brendan Gaughan? Last year's winner sits right there in 5th. The South Point Hotel and Casino 62 has been getting quicker as this race has progressed.
Yeah, I think that's the key, is his experience allows him to continue to give good information and get the car better and better when it counts here at the end of the race, with an opportunity to either get a great finish or possibly battle for a win.
We watched him in the first 2 rounds of qualifying earlier today here on NBCSN. Boy, he came out and just attacked the racetrack, laid down a quick time, put himself into the next session. We know he's not afraid to get up on the wheel and go hard right away.
Oh, no, he's not. And we see some of these drivers come get probably their last set of tires. A number of these drivers, the 2 of Brian Scott, the 1 of Elliott Sadler, the 33 of Brandon Jones, they all had that opportunity. They took the wave around, got back on the lead lap.
Update us on the 33, Jim.
Well, Brandon Jones came in, got 4 tires and a very big air pressure adjustment. He's been free in traffic, and that's been his main problem. He's probably not going to wind up with the finish he deserves, but he's done a really nice job behind the wheel tonight, Mike.
Yeah, he's back out on the racetrack. He's been up and down through that running order. Big things for him in the future, as they announce, if you're just joining us now, that he will be going full-time for Richard Childress Racing in the Xfinity Series in 2016.
Yeah, if it just wasn't for, they stayed out and played that strategy of staying out, which was the right thing to do at the time, but then the untimely caution before the pit stop cycled around is the only reason he's not up here battling for a win. They have to really be encouraged what they see here from Brandon Jones as they look forward to 2016 with him full-time.
Seven leaders tonight, 16 lead changes, working our 8th caution. Ryan Sieg running in 10th, the 39. J.J. Yaley behind him in 11th. Truex right there in 12th in the 98. Good finishes for some of these teams with smaller budgets. Take that money, get to the next show.
Yeah, this just, again, opportunities here. on a night when we don't have any of the Cup drivers in there, that they can work their way up here and be a part of the mix, and a lot of good things happening. We've seen some outstanding driving and racing, and a chance for them to cash a pretty good check, which will go a long way.
Good looking Ryan Truex's night as he's been up and down through the field. Currently 12th. Let's see if he can get up to or maybe better than that high position of 9th earlier. There's Conley in the 14.
With all due respect for the Cup drivers that do come over here and run, and understand the reasons that they do, and they put on great shows battling each other, but we get to watch them on Sunday. It's been fun tonight to call different names up here battling for the lead, for the win, and just doing an outstanding job. So these drivers and teams can put on a good show without those guys as a part of the mix, and I know a lot of them are sitting back in Loudon right now as they get ready to race tomorrow, enjoying a great show here that these drivers are putting on.
Matt Tifft is one of those drivers, Mike, has been putting on a show.
Yeah, and he's not a guy that we've heard a lot about. In fact, I had a conversation with his crew chief, Mike Wheeler, this weekend. I asked him about, this kid, where did he come from and what have you, and he said, well, you know what, he doesn't have much of a resume, but Ken Schrader came to us and just simply said, this kid is really good. You can almost see the expression on Ken Schrader's face when Mike Wheeler was saying it, because, that wry smile and what have you by Schrader just saying he's really good. I'd say Schrader's got an eye for talent. Wouldn't you guys?
Oh, no doubt about it. And Tifft right now, the only driver winless in the top 8, and that could change here tonight. Kenny's a very good judge of talent.
Yeah, the only thing he's better judge is the Budweiser beer that he drinks. So that's the only, you put that and you give him enough of that, he had to tell you all about Matt Tifft here. But no, he is a good. You're right. Schrader's a great race driver, a good person, and understand what it takes to get to the top level, and he sees that in this young man.
This is one car we thought would be up there, Suarez, but boy, they've had a rough struggle. All right, here we go. Showing 14 to go. Tifft on the inside in the 20. Could he really make a name for himself and pull into victory lane? Or will Blaney drive away from the field? Back to the green we go. Tifft protecting the bottom. Jones with nowhere to go. Oh, crashing behind him. Truex is sideways. Tapped again. Up to the wall he goes, and Chastain's involved. Boy, that's a tough break for both of those cars.
Just talking about what good nights they were having, opportunities to get top 10 finishes here. But that's what happens to restart. You're trying to, you know that you have to get everything that you can. You have to pretty much, once you put it in high gear, leave your foot on the floor driving through turns 1 and 2. Sometimes you drive through those bumps and the car just doesn't agree with you.
Ryan drops the window net. Let's take a look at it here.
And sometimes you get hit. It's not the bumps or anything else. You can see the contact with 14 of Kel Conley. This is just racing. You've got to be aware and try to be aware as much as you can of everything and everybody that's all around you.
Dale, I think the 2 got into the 14, which pushed him up into the 98 if we get a chance to look at that again. Watch Scott down here.
You can see Brian Scott there. Goes up a little bit. Yeah, it looked like Brian got a little bit loose. That got him into Kel Conley in the 14. It's just unfortunate. It looked like Ryan Truex might almost have it saved. But caught the left front on another car there and sent him on around.
Back of the frame here to the right. And watch this for Chastain. He got a little rub there, but if Ryan didn't get touched again and the nose would have stayed to the left, Chastain would have been all right.
Yep.
Back to the left or to the right went the 98, and Chastain was right there. Tough night on the 4, Jim.
Yeah, that kind of completes the trifecta for Johnny Davis Motorsports, but they had a really bright spot this weekend when Ross Chastain qualified, made it all the way to the final group earlier this afternoon. That was the first time any car from JD Motorsports had ever done that. We talked to Chastain afterwards. full of enthusiasm about tonight. He simply radioed in after that latest incident and said, guys, I had nowhere to go.
No, he didn't. Truex had a pretty good run going to Richmond, and the same problem happened to him there, too. And guess what? We got another restart.
Another restart. Blaney's been flawless so far on these. I believe that Ty Dillon worked his way into that second spot, so going to see another driver try to make their attempt at staying beside of Ryan Blaney and see if they can possibly beat him off of turn 2 or down into turn 3.
Blaney, Dillon, Tift, Smith, and Jones in the top 5.
Yeah, Eric Jones lost another spot on that restart. Part of it had to do with Matt Tift, who looked like he might have spun the tires just a little bit. Probably a little anxious and tried to get too much power down on that restart, trying to keep up, but still made a good restart. Jones, it just doesn't seem like Eric Jones, this car has agreed with the 2 tires that Chris Gale elected to put on the car. Yeah, that's a chance that you take when you haven't done it all night. You put them on. You like to think you know exactly what it's going to do, but it hasn't reacted the way that Eric Jones wanted for sure.
Jones, of course, didn't get any practice in this car whatsoever. Drew Herring practiced the car, qualified the car, did an outstanding job with it. Never know what he might have been thinking, too. Jones, as far as the feedback he was giving and what he was assuming it was going to do.
Yeah, it looked like they kind of had things kind of in hand, though. They had made the car better and better. It has been all night better on the long runs than the get-go on these restarts. So that's been something that they've dealt with. But it just seems like, again, the 2 tires has taken it from being one thing and then that the car was doing, and even though it wasn't that fast, but now it's made him really, really tight, which is very, very difficult to manage on these restarts.
Don't forget Premier Boxing Champions from Birmingham, Alabama, coming up next here on NBCSN. It's going to be less than 10 to go. Blaney just waiting to drop the hammer again. He has been spectacular on these restarts.
Well, he has been, and it doesn't seem like his car is wearing the tires very much. The one advantage, the 3 could look at it. You look at that, he's got fresher tires. He put 4 on the last time that he was in the pits. So is that going to be enough of an advantage to let him make a run and try to get this victory?
We've seen guys spreading out 3 and 4 wide on these restarts, trying to get to the bottom, not afraid to go to the high side. They're going to be scattered all over the place on this one.
Yeah, and your pressure comes because it's quite obvious if Ryan Blaney in the 22 gets out front off of turn 2, then he's going to set sail. You're probably not going to run him down and catch him. So you've really got to make a even more extended effort at trying to stay side by side with him. You put yourself in a very difficult position as you try to go through those bumps down in turn 1 and 2, in as much gas as what you can hold down there and keep your car under control. We've seen a lot of them out of control down on that inside.
He's been so good on these restarts, and one thing he doesn't want to do is overthink this one.
No, yeah, you can't do that. Just continue to do the things that you're doing, and you know, the only thing that you get into as you heat up and cycle these tires, the car will react just a little bit differently. But again, this 22 has been outstanding throughout the night, regardless of how many laps the tires have on them.
Here we go. The final standalone race of 2015 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Pace truck is ready to pull off. Can Blaney nail another restart, or will somebody else have something for him when we get to turn 1? Green flag. Oh, look at Smith inside. Blaney, not his best restart. He's back to 3rd and loose in the middle of 1. Dillon starts to pull away. 5 wide. This time coming off of turn 2.
Yeah, it looked like that Ryan Blaney tried to slow him down just a little bit, waited really late in the box, but that didn't work to his advantage there. Ty Dillon was ready, so was Regan Smith to take advantage.
Dillon starts to open up a gap. Regan Smith runs in second. And here comes Brendan Gaughan with Chase Elliott pushing him. 7 laps remain.
You see right behind them, here comes Brandon Jones in the 33. He has fresher tires than either one of these cars in front of him, making a great rebound from being that lap down.
And Chris Buescher running the best he has all night. The points leader's in 7.
Comes Blaney into the second spot now. It was paramount that he get by Regan Smith in that 7, have any shot at trying to get to Ty Dillon.
He's got the time left to run him down. Now, does he have the race car?
Going to be tough to do. He's been fast. He's been 2 or 3 tenths faster, but he's about a half a second back right now. If Ty Dillon hits his marks, doesn't make a mistake, it's going to be tough for the 22 to get there.
We said the one thing he couldn't do is overthink this last restart, and it looks like he might have.
Yeah, I think maybe he did just a little bit there. Ty Dillon actually ran a little quicker. Of course, Ryan Blaney was making a pass there. Let's see if he's able to close that gap any.
Chase Elliott reeling in Regan Smith. That would be for 3rd and a few more points in the championship. Bubba Wallace in the 6, battling with the 54. Eric Jones, and caution is out. We're going to do another restart. Clements to the infield. Well, maybe Blaney's going to get a shot to make up for that one restart here.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. He's going to be probably down on the inside. We're going to basically look at a green-white checker to make that happen and have that opportunity. What a great restart. Ty Dillon did everything he needed to do on that restart to get himself in that position.
Let's take a look at the last restart and figure out what Blaney did wrong here. Watch the 22.
Well, you can see that Ty Dillon had rolled up, and it looked like he was going to get in front. As he saw the front of that car, he tried to slow down and hesitate just a minute, still in the box, but he didn't have his speed up then, and the 3 had gotten back there.
And boy, the 7 just shoved his way past 2. Here's some Eric Jones's car.
Almost there. Keep going, keep going. Just doing the 62 here. Come on with it. Still there. Nice and easy here.
Yeah, instead of Blaney just going with his normal restarts that he had been doing, he didn't do that time. His RPMs were down by the time that he was ready to take off because of that last little move that he did, and everybody just motored. I say everybody, the 3 and the 7 motored by him, put him in a tough spot.
10 cautions here tonight. That ties a record here in Kentucky Speedway. Brandon Jones is now up to 6. Jim, what are they saying?
I don't think they can talk. They can't believe what Brandon Jones did on that last restart. He's restarted 14th. Right before that, Danny Stockman came over the radio and said, you know what? There's a bunch of cars in front of you that you've been better than all night. Why don't you go get them? Brandon Jones went and got them on that restart.
Yeah, how about just behind him, our points leader, Chris Buescher? It looked like that he was in jeopardy of losing maybe a significant number of points. As you pointed out, he's up in 7th. He has managed this race, even though his 2 competitors there are closest contenders for the championship are right ahead of him. Even if it plays out like this right here, he's not going to lose a lot of points towards his championship battle. Could have been much, much worse, but this is what Chris Buescher does so well.
At one point tonight, when he was down in 15th, and Dillon was up in the points at the front of the field, the points lead had dwindled to single digits.
Yeah.
It's back to double digits now at 15.
Yeah, he would lose some of that, but, you know, we still have racing to do. Yeah. Anything could change here. He might end up finishing in front of both of them the way these restarts are going.
This will be the first green-white checkered finish here at Kentucky. This will be our first attempt at it. Think we get it done in one shot?
I can't imagine. You know, they've managed to somehow pull off this four-rod racing pretty much all the time, except for a few occasions. You know, nobody gives an inch here right now, so that's going to be the key. They're all going to be down on the doors and sides of the others, so see what happens.
Don't forget, there's a little bit of bad blood between the 3 and Ty Dillon and the 7 of Regan Smith. And Austin Dillon, oh, by the way, won the 500th NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race held today in Loudon, New Hampshire. Could be a great day for the Dillon brothers.
Could be that.
Green, white checker. Do we get it done? Massive implications in the championship standings for the Xfinity Series on the line. Final standalone race of the year. How do they do this restart? Oh, look at Dillon. He's got Blaney just crowding him here as we come to the green.
Big push from Regan Smith into the back of the 22, sends him way out front.
Gets him loose, too. Gathers it up as they go into one, and Blaney's the leader, but for how long? Smooth off of turn 2. Smith to the inside for second. Dillon trying to hold it on the outside, and here comes Chase Elliott.
Eric Jones up on the high side trying to make some spots up.
Right flag waves for Blaney. Will he make up for botching that one restart? He is one lap away from getting the win. His 41st career start in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And Ryan Blaney in the discount tire 22 makes his way out the final and fourth corner for his 4th career win. Ryan Blaney gets his 2nd win at 2015, just when you thought it was slipping away.
Yeah.
You just come alive, buddy. Good job.
He did a great job there, but
everybody. Nice job, 22.
I hope he goes and takes Regan Smith to dinner at a nice steakhouse, because that was certainly the push that he got there that sent him out front.
No doubt about it, and he becomes the 8th repeat winner of 2015. Ryan Blaney celebrating his 2nd Kentucky win and his 5th race here. We'll be right back to hear from the winner after this at NBCSN. Well, while Ryan Blaney is a very happy driver, there's some with some seriously hurt feelings down, including this man, Brian Scott, not happy at all with Bubba Wallace. Boy, these two are just not happy with each other. Watch this. Leans in, looks like they're talking, then things get really aggressive. He walked away, and then he walked back over here to talk about it some more. Here they come, and they just went after it.
As in most cases, there's 2 different sides to it.
Well, let's hear from it. Jim, what do you got?
What I got is a obviously intense Brian Scott. Tell me what led to the conflict with you and Bubba Wallace.
Well, first off, obviously, hats off to all the guys at RCR, ECR. I think that we showed, as a company, we're really dominant. I felt really good about our Short Lodge Chevrolet. Extremely good out front. We struggled a little bit with it in dirty air. You know, we just kind of kept having restarts and red flags, and the race wasn't really going smoothly, and that didn't really play into our favor. And we got a restart. We pitted. And it put us back a little bit track position. We got a restart, and the 6th just, I mean, he drove down into me. He tried to, it's, at least from my, I don't know, I want to see this replay.
Take another look at it here, Brian.
I mean, I never felt like he even gave me a chance to get in the corner, and he loosened our right rear wheel, and it ruined our day. Really unfortunate such a fast car. Thanks to Shore Lodge, Albertsons, everybody, and you know, we're racing for wins. So we don't have to worry about points and stuff, and that puts us in a position to race these guys aggressively if that's how they're going to race.
That's Brian Scott after a long, tough night here at Kentucky.
He ends up 13th, and Bubba Wallace 9th. Here's a look at the point standings, and it is closed up. It was 25 between first and second. It's now down to 19.
Yeah, both Ty Dillon and Chase Elliott were able to make some gains, but this is a win in my mind. Watching Chris Buescher battle this race car all night, that he was able to bring this thing home in 7th. That's what champions do.
Well, let's hear the Bubba Wallace side of the story, Alex.
Bubba's walking back to the Xfinity garage. Your side of the story from the dust up on pit road with Brian Scott.
I don't even know if we got together on pit road, but hey, we come home 9th, another top 10, so that's good. It's not what we were expecting all day. Our Bleacher Report Mustang wasn't what we had in practice. It was kind of a total different animal, but that's what produces here in Kentucky. Great racing all around. Thanks for the fans coming out. Xfinity putting the race on. Just a bummer we didn't run better. We were expecting a little bit better than what we did. Tried to do some pitch strategy, but ended up hurting us in the long run. But we'll go to Dover. We're really good and have some fun.
Walk us through the final restart. Brian Scott's side of it was that you crowded him down on the racetrack. Your side of the story on the restart, as you can see the replay here.
Yeah, that was early in the race, but.
That's Bubba Wallace, certainly dejected, not happy at all right now, and that's his side of the story.
Always going to be two sides pretty much every time that you ask two drivers what happened. He ran into me. He ran into me. That's all that you're going to hear. How about it, Jim?
All right, Ty Dillon is down here after the runner-up finish. It looked for a while it would be a Dillon double after your brother won the truck race. Take me through the final restart that Ryan Blaney got the best of almost everybody else out here.
Yeah, this hurts for our team, but it is nice to be upset with second. I'm proud of Nick and the guys. We've been really, really strong, and we got more race to go. We'll get in victory lane. It just hurts to lose it like that. I got a good launch on the restart, and I saw the 22 getting popped, and he got a good bump. The 20 gave me a bump like that on the restart before, and I know it'd be tough to hold off, and once you get clean air, you can be Superman for 3 laps. And proud of my guys. We made the right calls. We had a fast race car. This is 2 weeks in a row. I'm really proud. Man, this just hurts. It's my mom's birthday. Got a bunch of people here from Wesco, and wanted to get them in victory lane. And we got a lot of great things going on. But man, this hurts. It's been a trying year. But the good Lord is going to make it right for us here eventually. We've been running good, and we'll get there.
All right, that's Ty Dillon. Now let's go to victory lane and Mike Massaro.
And Ryan Blaney climbing from his car, victorious here in Kentucky. And wow, how things can change in just a week. Last week, ultra disappointment in Chicagoland. Today in victory lane. Obviously, this came down to restarts. Let's take you back to the second to last one when you got shuffled back. What happened there?
Yeah, Kentucky is such a great racetrack because you can see 3 or 4 wide racing in the first corner. And as a leader, you really have to protect. And I didn't know where the 7 was going. He kind of faked me out going to the top, and that was able to kind of open up the middle, and they just lost all our momentum. So we're really excited we got another chance at it. And then he kind of helped us out there and gave us a push there at the end. So great discount tire Ford Mustang. We were great all night, and it was just a matter of getting up the front. Clean air was so important, but I can't thank discount tire, Ford, Hertz, Xfinity Series, and the fans for sticking around. That's really cool.
That second chance, that final restart, what was that one like? I mean, it seemed like you had the great jump, really aggressive there, and got the most of it.
Yeah, we were just even with the 3, and like I said, the 7 gave us a good push, and that's all it is now, is who can get a big push, and luckily we were able to get a good one and just get a little bit of position on the 3 to kind of use up the racetrack to get in front of them. And I knew once we were clear, we had a really good shot at it. So, like I said, I can't say enough for these guys after our disappointment last week. It's there's no other way to rebound than winning.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ryan Blaney in victory lane here in Kentucky. Ralph?
Second win on a 1.5 mile racetrack for Ryan Blaney. Both of them come right here at Kentucky Speedway. We'll be back to wrap up our coverage to this. Wrapping up our NASCAR Xfinity Series coverage presented by Nexium here at Kentucky Speedway as we take a look at the unofficial results. Matt Tifft, all the way up to second, ends up 10th.
Still makes a great night. He's completed all the laps, did everything that he needed to do. Great experience for him and a good finish.
Elliott Sadler thought he was going to be a little bit stronger at the end, ends up just outside the top 10.
Yeah, great run for Ryan Sieg there. You see in 12th spot. Dakota Armstrong back there in 14th.
Ryan Reed won the ARCA race earlier today, ends up running 25th here. Back through the rest of the field. Well, as we said, Premier Boxing Champions is coming up, but we thought we'd just get you a little warmed up for it. Got our own little Premier Boxing Champions going on here.
Well, a little disagreement about some things that happened on the racetrack. Brian Scott wasn't happy, went to address Bubba Wallace about it. Don't know any punches were thrown, but certainly a little animated there.
Maybe just helping him with his belts?
Yeah, I'm sure he was just trying to help. Yeah, he's a nice guy that he is.
Let me unhook that radio for you there. Get your water bottle, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Well, it has been a wild 2 days here in Kentucky. We had rain, we had red flags, tremendous amount of restarts. And all in all, a great finish here as we see a green-white checker, the first one here at Kentucky. For Mike Massaro, Alex Hayden, Jim Noble, Dale Jarrett, I'm Ralph Shaheen. It's been a great one. Stay with us. Premier Boxing Champions is coming up next. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for NASCAR America, 1 o'clock Eastern. Countdown to green at 1:30. And NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race from New Hampshire at 2 o'clock, all here on NBCSN. Congratulations, Ryan Blaney. Here comes the boxing. We got you warmed up.